When I see your smile, tears roll down my face. I can't replace. And now that I'm strong, I have figured out how this world turns cold and it breaks through my soul. And I know I'll find deep inside me I can be the one. I will never let you fall.
Okay, spin around, darling. Right round. Oh, yes, I can see your wings.
It's a big smile.
Oh, yes. One more. Big smile. That's pretty.
Clap your hands together. 1, 2, 3.
Yay! Well done. Okay, let's sing another one.
Days grow longer and nights grow shorter. I can show you I'll be the one. I will never let you fall. I'll stand up for you forever. I'll be there for you through it all. Even after
4.
That's for Angela.
Are we going to post it today?
No.
We are.
There's a letter.
Who says uh-huh? Say yes, Daddy.
Yes, Daddy.
Okay.
And then
Oh, we took a very big toilet. Santa was some Pringles toys. Alice.
Felt blessed, really, at that time.
you say the family.
Hi everyone.
Hi everyone.
Sorry for the delay. We had some issues connecting, so we were trying to figure it out. Please let us know in the comments if you can hear us. I'm not going to start talking until I get confirmation you guys can hear us. I talk without people hearing, so.
Hi Debbie.
Hi Debbie, can you hear us? Oh, thank God for that. Hi Kat, hi Bernadette. Guys, thank you so much for bearing with us. First of all, I just want to say I'm really sorry that I had to postpone the live tonight with Lizzie from Hide the Hope for YouTube channel. Due to unforeseen circumstances, we had to postpone it for a later date. Then secondly, I want to apologize for being so late tonight. Hi Christine. Thank you so much everyone for joining. So before we get started with talking about Madeleine McCann, I just feel like there's something I really need to address, because there were some comments which I received on Facebook and also on my YouTube channel. And in fact, on Facebook, the bullying started from that point. So let's talk about the monetization on my videos. I'm just going to talk very briefly about it. I'll make a separate video on that only. But for now, I just want to address a comment which was left publicly on my YouTube channel. I usually don't name people because I don't really like naming, but this was a public comment. If I can find where I put it. Where did I put it? Do you know where it is?
You didn't tell me anything, so I don't know.
Okay. I can't remember if I saved it on your computer. I saved it on my computer. Let's find it. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm a bit unprepared because I had to get everything ready last minute because of the change in lives tonight. I honestly have no idea where I put it. Can I? No.
No, that means it's on yours.
Yes, so I probably saved the screenshot on my other computer. I am really sorry, guys. Just bear with me a second. Anyway, JD was the one who pointed this comment out to me, and I've seen it as well. But instead of, just saying about it, I would rather show you. So I'm going to try and find the comment right now. I think I saved it on this computer, but it doesn't matter anyway. Yes, I don't know what I did. I did something.
Yeah, you did something which you can't find now, so I don't know.
I will find it now. I found the video where the comment was on. So I'm just going to share the screen just to make it easier for everyone to see what I'm trying to talk about.
Yeah, that's
Yes, this is the one, yeah. I am so sorry, everyone. I apologized. I'm so unprepared tonight. So I'm just going to share with you a comment which I received on one of my previous lives. Is it this one? Yeah, this is the one. So this is the comment that I want to show you guys here. Is from Ellen. It's public on my channel, so it's not like I'm sharing something which was privately sent to me. So he says here, after having taken the time and effort to send you the links to the very best YouTube presentations on the Madeleine McCann case, you did not even bother to send me a thank you message. Secondly, I have the suspicion that you may be making money from your Madeleine presentations, which goes against the general consensus of the Madeleine online community. While I may be wrong about the second point, I am certainly not wrong about the first one.
You need to share it, isn't it?
Yes. Alan got upset thinking that I read his messages when I didn't read the messages. I always say thank you to him whenever he's sending me messages, but this is not the issue. I appreciate everybody who is sending me messages, and I take the time to read them whenever I can. Honestly, I was a bit upset about Alan's comment, not because of the monetization issue, mostly because I didn't answer to him. Right, so I didn't read the messages when he left the comment, because like I said to him, apart from having a YouTube channel, I also have a family. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm looking after the house, I'm looking after the kids. So I usually go into depth into reading all the things I receive from viewers or from people who know my YouTube channel when I have time. Most of the time, it's usually when my 4-year-old goes to sleep, I'm next to him laying in bed, and that's when I'm using my phone to check any messages, any comments, and things like that, or when the kids are at school and at nursery. So that was one of the points which I was trying to make here with this comment. Then I want to move on the second comment, which is from Ellen again. See, the images were here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is the second one. So this is his second comment. Obviously, I replied to his first comment. Also, I went on Facebook and I sent him the message and I gave him my thanks, but he didn't expect me to reply as late as I did. That's the reason why he probably left the comments on YouTube. So in regards to the monetization issue, which it seems that I've been having this issue talking about monetization even before I was actually monetized by YouTube. So I'll tell you one thing. I started talking about Madeleine McCann in June of 2020. To be monetized on YouTube is not so easy as everyone thinks it is. You need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 of watch hours. So people need to watch your videos 4,000 hours before you actually can get approved for monetization. So I got all those hours in, I think, November, right? It was in November, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, I got the hours in November, I got the subscribers in November, and I decided to apply for monetization. My monetization from YouTube got approved in January, right after we moved here, which came as a surprise to me because we were like, oh my God, we have to move, it's Christmas time and all sorts of things. And then voila, I just received the email that YouTube decided to monetize my videos.
After about 3 months.
After around 3 months, yes, three and a half months, something like that.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, and then I said, okay, that's fine. The reason why I decided to monetize my channel is not to profit from any sort of cases. The very first time when I opened the YouTube channel, it wasn't even focused on true crime or on Madeleine McCann. When I got interested in Madeleine McCann was when I've seen a news report on telly last year, I think it was before June, when they were talking about Christian Bruckner. And also having watched so many videos on YouTube, I said, okay, let me try. I just want to do it. I want to do it. I didn't really see any profit from it. I was not thinking about money. I was not thinking about anything. I just wanted to put videos out there because there was something I like to do. Now, after understanding that, yes, I can monetize my content, I was thinking, why shouldn't I monetize my content? And I'll tell you why. It's not because of money. It's mostly to make myself feel better about myself. Because if you guys, for example, are stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home dads, it feels sometimes that you are stuck just doing the same things over and over again. And me, before being a stay-at-home mom, I was quite an independent woman, right? I had a job. I was going where I wanted to go. I was buying whatever I wanted to buy. And obviously, I wasn't doing any nasty stuff because I'm married, we have kids, and so on. But from having a full-time job to being a stay-at-home mom for this last, what, 4 years?
Yeah.
4 years, it sort of took a toll on me. So I wanted to try and maybe bring some spare money, right? Because it doesn't really hurt anybody. Because when people are watching my videos, I never ask anyone for money. Also, people do not need to pay to watch my videos. I have the option, even now because the videos are monetized, I have the option for super stickers and super chat for people to donate money. I never once asked anybody to donate money or to buy a super sticker or to buy a super chat. I don't have a membership on my channel. So, that was a bit hurtful towards me because it's someone's opinion. And that's how precisely the bullying started, about me monetizing my channel on Madeleine McCann. Not on any other case, but on Madeleine McCann. So anyway, that's it. I'm not going to go into any more details. So I just want to go through the comments right now. If you guys have any questions about monetization, please put the question in the comment section and I'll try my best to answer you. But, oh yes, the last thing which I want to touch, the last point, how much I earned on my Madeleine McCann videos. From January up to now, I earned £30, 30. So if you have your videos monetized by YouTube, you are not becoming a millionaire. I earned £30, 30. So
Since June last year.
Since January when I got monetized.
Oh yeah, sorry, January.
Since January until now we are in April.
Yeah.
I earned £30. So yeah, that will be the end of the coverage on this subject. So let's see.
Right.
Katina Hat is saying, did the screen freeze or is it my poor cell Wi-Fi? Well, from our side, it's not showing like there are any sort of issues. So maybe, I don't know. You want to double check that? JD saying, freedom of speech, Kat, you're fantastic at your job on YouTube, and we are all here to support you no matter what. Everyone show love for your support. Thank you so much. Thank you, JD. Thank you. £30 doesn't cover the coffee costs. JD, yeah, you know what? Let's just make it funny, right? You are completely right, because a jar of coffee that my husband buys me is £10, and I finished that jar of coffee in 2 weeks. So yeah, no, it doesn't cover that either. No.
Hi, Denise.
Hi, Denise. Really sad you are having to justify your actions. Honestly, I don't find it fair that I do have to justify my actions, but in this particular situation, I feel like I need to, because, for example, if he works somewhere and I don't know him, I'm not going to ask him how much he earns, for example. So.
Yeah. Hi, Bernadette.
Hi, Bernadette. Thank you for joining. Wow, you're gonna get rich, Cat. Yes.
Well, to be honest,
that's what some people believe.
It's everybody's opinion. They are free to have an opinion, freedom of speech and everything, you name it, But to be honest, to ask about how much you earn for videos and stuff that you do, but did he ask himself how much work is put into
I didn't
this?
even talk about that.
How much time it takes to do that, and how much stress you get, and not only that, but because having kids doesn't really give you the time to do certain things when you want. For example, during the day, she's all the time with the kids, especially the little one, because he's so clingy, and obviously he doesn't give her time to do her research, to do her stuff, scripts and stuff like that, which are related to YouTube. and nothing else can be done around him, because as soon as you touch the chair or touch the computer,
It's like,
he's like
Nope.
sticky note. Here I am.
yes.
Pay attention to me. Leave everything else aside. I don't care. Right? As much as I'm home, I'm trying to get him out of it and keep him away from her. So in order to give us some time to do something, but some people don't even realize how hard it is to do something. Um, and obviously, it's all about your time, your resources, research, stress and pressure and everything. You add it, and then you will realize, hold on a minute, it's not as easy as I was thinking. But anyway, it's fine.
The most important thing is that I love what I do, and so honestly I try to find as much time as I possibly can. One of the reasons why you haven't seen us for the last 2 weeks is because the kids are on holiday, and also I sort of felt like mentally drained from everything. And
It's really draining, and also kids don't just give you time. It, it's not their fault. They are kids, and they need attention. They need the support. But obviously, when you try to do something, and then you realize, well, hold on a minute, I can't do that because I can't. He doesn't let me.
well,
Nothing you can
anyway,
do about it.
yeah, I think that we need to, finish the conversation about
Yeah, but
the
it's
monetization.
upsetting, to be honest. It's upsetting when people ask you how much you earn, and if I was even saying, if people need information about how much you earn, then show them proof how much you earn. So in order to
I will honestly make a separate video only focusing on monetization on YouTube and the earnings on YouTube, because
Yeah.
it's not as a lot of people believe. For example, whatever you make on your videos on YouTube, YouTube is keeping 55% of your earnings. So it's not like you get 100% of the earnings. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I think we spoke enough about these things. Let's just move on and talk about Madeleine McCann now.
Right. Let's just put here some.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to, yeah, she's gonna get rich, and everybody else around her as well. So she will help everybody with her 30 pounds. No problem. We share.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't mind. We
You're
can all share.
fantastic at it. Yes, thank you very much, Jackie.
Thank you, Jackie.
She is fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you, husband.
Beth is saying, I wholeheartedly support you, Kat. You have provided more information about this case than anyone else on YouTube or on social media. Keep up the wonderful investigatory work.
Thank
Yes,
you, Beth.
thank you. Well, she did most of it. I did help, but now because I work and I have to stay with the little one somehow when she does her work, then obviously I can't touch the computer. So now I can't do much about it.
Yeah. Well,
Hi, crazy lady.
Hi,
Thanks
crazy
for
lady.
joining. Kat, we have no reason to feel bad about monetizing your videos. You spend a lot of time making them, and it's not anyone's business.
Thank
Fair
you.
enough.
Thank
you very
you.
much for that. Yes, true. Then obviously Bernadette is saying, yes, all the hours you spend researching and giving us all knowledge on these cases.
I honestly, especially on Madeleine McCann, with every single video, I spent at least 4 days only for the research, and then it takes me around 2 days to actually edit the videos, because I can't do the research and edit the videos all in one go. Otherwise, I would finish in 1 day, but it's just not possible for me to do it.
JD, thanks very much for that. We all appreciate the effort and research Kat does. Yes.
Thank you so much, JD, and thanks for joining so late again.
Jack is saying it's sad you have to justify yourself. Don't worry about the big grudge.
Grudges.
Big grudges. Just yeah, you have our support and we enjoy your videos. Thank you very much, Jackie. Then Bobo, thank you very much for joining and being
Hi,
here.
Bobo.
Please don't worry about it. I absolutely agree with you. I agree with her as well. Debbie, you have full-time job as a mother cat. You have no reason to feel bad. Your children come first and take a lot of time. If you want my, I give you your super chat. That's our choice. If, because she's saying about the super chat. Yeah. Personal assistant don't get much wages. Yes, true. True. Hi, Geraldine.
Hi, Geraldine. Hi.
I'm so annoyed that anyone would ask about money. The time research Cat puts into this.
Thank you, Geraldine.
So that's what I was saying. When she does, before she's doing a video, uh, she's trying to gather as much information and obviously needs to be proper information, not fakes, not, because there's sometimes you make mistakes based on others' information. And even news, they give kind of false leads, and you need to make sure you gather all that good information and you put it out there for everybody else to see and read it. So let's get to the chat about Madeleine McCann.
Yes, Madeleine McCann. So I did say that I'm going to try and share with you guys a few things that I found during my research around the Madeleine McCann investigation. And I want to start with a clip which is going to play any second now. If you can go on to the media, and I think that I copied the link already. This one.
Which one is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it that one?
It should be, yes. This.
There you go.
Let's hide ourselves. So I hope, guys, you could hear. That was a very short clip from Sandra asking Gerry if he knew Robert Murat. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that they knew each other before Madeleine McCann's disappearance? Anyway, whilst you think about it and give an answer in the comments section, I will try and give you some more information about it. So, as we all know already, Murat, he was referred by the British ambassador to Portugal, Bill Henderson, to the PJ, Portuguese police, to use him for translations, right? Now, as far as the town of Exeter is concerned, there are several people which are connected with the Madeleine McCann's case and live in or near Exeter. So let's see who they are, right? Robert Murat's two sisters, they live in Exeter. And I want to pop an image here.
No sound and no clip, they said.
No clip and no sound?
No.
Oh. How come? Right, okay, let's try it again then. I'm going to try to upload this.
Okay.
If I can.
Okay, go on.
Right. How about now? Were you able to hear? How does it not have any sound? I don't understand.
The reporter is asking Gerry, did you know Robert Murat? Right. Is it a question about no sound there? Can we get Can we get the sound?
I don't know how to get the sound because I can hear the sound. Okay, hold on. Let's try again.
Can you go here? No?
What is happening? Because this is on my YouTube channel and I also uploaded from the computer and it's still not showing any sound. Not showing any sound. What am I talking about? Okay, I'm going to try a different way then. I need to, okay. Okay, I'm going to try now with screen share. Let's see if it works this way. Share audio from the app.
Did you know Robert Murat? I'm not going to comment on that.
I'm pretty sure I didn't do it. Oh my.
Did you know Robert Murat?
I'm not going to comment on that.
Right. Well, as I said, the yeah.
Oh, finally.
Finally,
Third
okay.
time lucky. Or was it fourth time?
Fourth, probably.
Okay. Okay, so you guys have seen the Gerry's reply to, you know, Robert Murat's Sandra's question about knowing Robert Murat. So from my point of view, just quickly saying it, it's quite obvious that he's uncomfortable with the question and he's also quite angry at the same time and he would rather just look anywhere else apart from there. But I also think that he was actually quite embarrassed or ashamed that he was lying. It is quite obvious. He's also looking down, which to me seems as if he's looking down in shame.
He does know him, probably.
Let's see, because I haven't finished with Robert Murat. So as I mentioned, as far as the town of Exeter is concerned, right, there are quite a few people connected to the Madeleine McCann investigation which live in or near Exeter in the UK. So let's see, Robert Murat's two sisters, they live in Exeter, less than a mile from Jane Tanner and Sidmouth. And I'm going to put now on your screen a little map here. So if you can see at the bottom, the red dot, O'Brien and Jane Tanner moved here 6 weeks before the kidnapping. Then the one which is close to St. Leonard's, Garrods live here. Police have seized the hire car they rented in Portugal. And then you can see here at the top, Murat stayed here shortly before Madeleine vanished. So this is where Murat lived with his sisters, just before Madeleine went missing. This at the bottom is where O'Brien and Jane Tanner lived. So it's about 1 mile distance between the two houses. So it's a bit unlikely that they didn't actually know each other before Madeleine's disappearance when they lived in the same area. Then also, allegedly, like we probably already know, a few hours after Murat received a lengthy phone call, he flew out from Exeter Airport to Faro at 7 a.m. on Tuesday, 1st of May, 2007. Now, there's something a bit strange about this flight. I want to show you some phone records. And first, I want you to have a look at the notes which are in red. If I can get that on the screen, that is, let's see, this. Right, so next thing I'm going to show you on the screen are Jane Tanner's phone records. So if you look at the bottom, on 30th of April, there exist only two records at 1831 and 2041. Also on the same antenna. So these are all the activations of Jane Tanner's mobile phone, sorry, she only had one, I think, unless they also had burner phones. So say, for example, if you look at the notes in the red and also at the phone records, let's say that Murat flies Exeter, Faro early on May the 1st, right? On the 30th of April, Jane makes a call at 1831, and this would be one of the two calls made on the same date. The second is at 2041. Is it not possible that she's calling Murat, or she receives a phone call from him to confirm that he booked his flight and possibly for some last minute arrangements? And you know what? On the same day, after these phone records and phone conversations, Murat books a flight for the next morning. So now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the flight details. Let's see. So this is, okay, I'm going to hide this first and this, and I'm going to show you the flight details. So I'll just put them on full screen so you can have right. So who would ring or needs to be rang by Jane Tanner at 4 o'clock in the morning? At first, really, as I was doing the research, I was thinking that perhaps it could have been one of the McCanns or O'Brien informing her of the death of Madeleine, because usually people at 4 o'clock in the morning or during those hours of the night, they only make phone calls in an emergency. It's not like everybody's awake at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and they start calling each other to have, a friendly conversation there. But then I'm thinking, what if it wasn't the McCanns or O'Brien who was calling Jane, but Murat? Maybe he called her back to say that he made the arrangements and that he's flying
Yeah.
after he booked his flight, or maybe just to confirm that he's going.
When you go full screen, the song goes off. So, oh, right.
Why? Why is the song going off?
I don't know. I don't know. I have no clue.
Okay, let's catch up on the comments and then we can
Because
move
this
on the
is
next.
on.
Oh, it might be.
Right. So.
So we've seen the phone records and also we've seen the area around Jane Tanner and Robert Murat. We've seen the phone records of Jane Tanner's, Robert Murat's flight details. So I don't know, is it really a coincidence that he flies last minute to Praia da Luz? Which, if indeed would be connected to him knowing what happened to Madeleine McCann and helping in any way possible to either cover up or come up with a plan or something that might mean that Madeleine died before the 3rd of May, 2007.
Or something else.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, hi, Carmel. I'm interested in that comment.
Carmel Guilfoyle. A nice French name. But wouldn't Murat talk if he knew something?
Oh, I'll tell you one thing, what I think of Murat. Apart from the thing that I really do believe they knew each other, him and the whole group, they knew each other before Madeleine went missing. I think that it came a point when he was made a scapegoat at the beginning of the investigation and he agreed to it. And do you know why I believe that? Because first of all, he offered himself to translate, but he was referred by, I think I mentioned this already, but I'm going to mention it again. He was referred by the British ambassador to Portugal, Bill Henderson, to the Portuguese police, so that the police would use him for the translations. Now, is it not a bit, weird and really out of the ordinary that out of everybody, the British ambassador is referring exactly Robert Murat? And then we also have all the circus around Robert Murat and Jane Tanner having recognized him, as she said when she was put in that police car, by him being the abductor, the man that she saw in the night, as in the Tanner man, right? As we like to refer to it. So that's another thing. Then also I am thinking he was willingly a scapegoat because he knew that he's going to get tons of money back from all those defamation suits from the media, because let's face it, the Tapas 9, they already had lawyers in their group, so they knew what is going to happen. It's one thing from being declared a suspect and another thing from being a suspect to actually being convicted of that crime and being proven. This case, since the beginning, it was the McCanns and their whole team were sending the police and everybody in all the wrong directions, feeding fake leads, feeding lies and everything, just so that the heat is taken off the McCanns. And I think this is exactly what happened in Murat's case. he was probably willingly, made the scapegoat, and he got rewarded for it by all the money he received from the media, because he got at least £600,000. So he was rewarded.
Yeah. So it was all planned. It wasn't just oh, it happened, that's it, finish. No, it was planned and well planned.
In your opinion and in my opinion,
Yeah.
allegedly, we are not looking for lawsuits here. We don't have the money for it. So this is just, you are trying to paint a bigger picture here, and it's sort of, there were so many things which just didn't make sense to me. Why, out of all people, was Murat chosen? And then he was helping, and then all of a sudden he becomes the suspect, right?
Yeah.
And then he sues everybody, and then happy ending.
Yeah.
For him.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. JD is saying Portuguese people speak good English. I don't understand why they needed a translator in the first place. Why Murat? I'm sure one police officer spoke English. I've been to Portugal and I didn't have issues. Well, I haven't been to Portugal, so honestly, I can't really, give my opinion on that. But I would think that out of all those people, somebody would be able to speak enough English to actually understand each other.
Yeah, they do speak English, but not all of them. But middle age, they do speak. And even if you think about police should know. There should be one or two which should speak English, isn't it? Because English is international language and it's used in many countries and all around the world. But sorry.
Caleb is here. Oh,
sorry.
Don't cry. Come on.
All right.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Sorry, everyone.
Oh my God.
Okay, that's fine, Caleb. Wow. He was just at the door. I didn't expect that.
I didn't even hear anything because otherwise I was going, but obviously I couldn't hear anything.
Okay, that is going to make milk for you, okay? Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Oh, sorry, guys.
Okay.
Mommy's coming.
Okay.
Okay, sorry guys, I'm just going to play you something quickly whilst I'm trying to settle him down.
That's the last time I saw her.
This is very concerning. This is a statement that bothers me a great deal. First of all, he begins with the pronoun I, which means psychologically he's putting himself there. This is good. We want him to be there. We want to have reliable information. But the next word is actually. The word actually means he's comparing what he's claiming to do with something else. Why would that be necessary at this point? Then I'd actually stuck my head around the door and I just lingered for a few seconds and thought how beautiful she was, and that was the last time I saw her. At this point, his child is missing, not dead, according to their narrative. Even though he's referencing a specific night, is Madeleine no longer beautiful? And what I ask the viewers is to consider that when you give a detail of a past tense event, the details should be in the past tense appropriately. When you speak about character or ongoing characteristics of a missing child, it should be present tense. And I thought, how beautiful she is. And that's the last time I saw her. That would be more acceptable. This is a past tense reference to Madeleine herself, not specifically bound up to a detail, but actually, was she only beautiful that night? That's what I mean by an attribute. So when someone uses an attribute of a missing child in the past tense, it's not a good signal. It's not a good signal at all. Now, he also stuttered with the pronoun I. So what we look for is that, does he normally stutter? And he doesn't. He's not a stutterer. The pronoun I is something that we in the English language use millions of times. We are as good at using the pronoun I as we could be as good at anything in this life. When someone stutters on the pronoun I, there is an increase in tension and anxiety. And this stutter bothers me here. And it's important. He's talking about his daughter in the context she's still missing. So while the several things are wrong, he gives a narrative or an emotion. He references her beauty, which should be ongoing, and it's not. And he stutters on the pronoun I. And I still wait to hear concern for what Madeleine is going through while this interview is being conducted. And that's going to be a bigger point as we move forward.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The last time someone sees a missing child is always going to be important.
Right.
This may sound a bit strange, but I believe him. I believe that the last time he saw her, he did linger. And he did think about how beautiful she was. I think this is where she was disposed of.
Did you kill your daughter?
No, that's an emphatic no. I mean, the ludicrous thing is what's been purported from Portugal is that Madeleine died in the apartment by an accident and we hid her body. Well, when did she have the accident and died? Because the only time she was left unattended was when we were at dinner. So if she died then, how could we have disposed or hidden her body, when there was an immediate threat? It's just nonsense. So, and if she died when we were in the apartment or fell and did something, why would we cover that up?
And this is what we call the embedded confession. This is where a guilty party will put together in their own language what happened. And we need to listen and believe them. We also have the principle of them asking questions. This is very important. They're asking questions to find out how their answers will be responded to. Will it be ridicule? Will it be acceptance? Will it sound sane? Will it help get them off the hook? Listen very carefully to what they say. It's a yes or no question. Did you kill your daughter? No is a good answer. And what I teach investigators to do is when someone is asked a yes or no question is to count on their fingers the number of words following the word no. No. That's an emphatic no. And on and obviously it goes into the point where it goes beyond your 10 fingers. When it goes that long, very simply speaking, there is a need to persuade. So the no is not going to stand on itself. If he said, no, I didn't kill my daughter and I'm telling you the truth, this would be something very strong. And we'd have to ask about her. And we'd also have to ask, did something cause your daughter's death? That sort of thing. But here, no, that's an emphatic no. The first thing we know about his denial is that his denial, from his perspective, needs some help. It's weak. That's an emphatic no. So the first thing is no, okay, an emphatic no. My no needs emphasis. Why does it need to be emphasis? There's one. I mean, the ludicrous thing is what I suppose what's been purported from Portugal is that Madeleine died in the apartment by accident and we hid her body. Okay. What he tells us here is Madeleine died in the apartment, his words, by an accident, which would support the pronoun we that we heard between mother and child, and we hid her body. I believe him. The reason I say this is an embedded confession is because he is not entering any other language. He's not quoting anyone. For instance, if I said, well, you said that I killed her, that's not an embedded confession because I'm actually quoting you. Here, he's not only is he not quoting anyone, he's only saying what's been purported, not even an accusation. And we need to be listening to him. This now tells me, as an analyst, Madeleine died in the apartment. So I know from their language thus far that Madeleine is not alive. They are in need of an alibi. The death was not intended, and the location of the death is in the apartment. And again, by accident. And then I know something else now. I know that we hid the body. Gerry and his wife, the two McCanns together, they worked together to hide her body. Then he goes into questions, and this is where guilty parties are looking to see what a response is. They're disguised as rhetorical questions, but they want to see what people respond to them as. This takes place even in the interview process. Well, when did she have the accident and died? Okay, what they want to know is, do people know the exact time of death? Because the only time she was left unattended is not the only time we left her. He's now removing himself from that. Left unattended is passive. Was when we, which shows unity between him and his wife, were at dinner. So if she died then, which this is, we call this an allowance. The father of a missing child is allowing for a scenario that denial will not allow. There's no natural denial. He's saying if she died, then, not even if she was dead, which is itself a red flag, but now about a specific time. How could we have disposed, hidden her body? The word disposed and then hidden, the change there, actually shows respect for Madeleine. It's a softer terminology. Not dump the body, and he even changes dispose, a self-correction from disposed to hidden. He now tells us that they didn't dispose the body, they actually hid it. This is why, and this confirms the priority. We want there to be light. We want there to be searching. By the way, we also want them to find Madeleine. But it's last on my list of priorities. So I now know that Madeleine is dead. Madeleine died in the apartment. And listen to his questions. When did we do this? How did we do this? You know, when there's an immediate, it's just nonsense, self-censoring again. And if she died when we were in the apartment or fell and died, why would we cover that up? Okay, that's the most important question he asks. So he now introduces something else that may have happened. Madeleine fell. I am concerned and remain concerned that Madeleine may have been drugged in any way, shape, or form, whether it be nighttime cough syrup or something more, so that these people could go and have their dinner and their party and get their break and all that, that Madeleine awoke and fell and got injured, and the injury was beyond.
Okay, guys, sorry about that. I am back. So my husband had to stay upstairs. So you guys have seen Peter Hyatt's embedded confessions, his analysis. I know that the full video is actually over 2 hours long. So I am just going to put a link in the comment section. Maybe you can save it if you want to watch it later. So this is the link for the full video. Hopefully I can actually share it. Let's see. Yes, that's the link for it. Also, guys, if you want to join a Facebook group, I am admin on this group. I will share the link with you. Just give me a second. Let's find it. Okay. Okay, this is the Facebook group that I am admin on, and I am usually active on there when I have time. Please answer the questions because we are very selective. So if you don't answer the questions when you request to join, your request will not be accepted. So after watching this video, I'm just going to put it plain and simple in my own words, what I believe of Kate and Gerry McCann's interview and that specific interview. The major red flag for me is that they never stop talking about themselves. It's always only about themselves. It's always only about them justifying their actions. And it's also about they're just giving too many unnecessary details. All those details, from my point of view, are not needed. It's as if they're trying to justify or trying to convince us that this is actually what happened. So let me know, guys, what do you think of the video in the comment section, and I'm going to start catching up on the comments, and then we can move on to the next part that I want to show you. Yes, my kid, he hasn't been sleeping very well for these last few nights for some reason. He's not teething, but he's just been restless. Beth here is saying, I never believed that she died or went missing that night while they were at dinner. Honestly, there are so many points, there are so many things which point you in that direction, honestly, really. And it's also very weird. I don't know, guys, if you have seen the timelines that they gave to the police. Actually, there were two timelines that they gave to the police. So let me try to see if I can find it on my Google Drive. Maybe I can share it with you. But the timelines, they are so weird, honestly, very, very weird. I don't know why would you need to give two timelines of events. And you know, to do, because if you have a timeline, you should stick with that timeline, but not give two timelines to the police, which more or less contradict each other. So I don't understand what the thing was with that, but it's just weird. So I'm gonna go now on my Google Drive and I'm going to try and see if I can find it. Let's see. Although I'm not quite sure in which folder it is. Oh my God, I'm so disorganized today. I believe is right. I think I found it. Is it this one? Yes, I found it. Oh, from the first try. Let's see where it's screen right now, so you can have a look at that, at the timelines. And also, it's worth mentioning that actually this timeline was written on, presumably, Madeleine McCann's book, which again, in my opinion, it's a major red flag. When you have a child who goes missing, I would think that you would keep anything and everything that she used or touched or, you know, anything like that as a memory which you cherish, not something which you destroy. So yes, I am going to add that right now, the timeline. Hi, Joe. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, Sue. Thank you for joining. Oh, Beth Flynn, you are in Texas. Whoa, US. Joe, Australia, 9:30 a.m. Hi, Christine. Thank you so much for joining. Let's pop your comment on the screen. Kate and Gerry are friends with the playgroup teacher as well in Portugal. She was seen at their home in the UK, or she lives near them. Yes, I have read about that as well. I don't have anything that I can show you in regards to that, but I've read. And after the Portugal and after everything that happened, she went visiting in the UK. But wasn't she the same nanny that the McCanns hired to look after the kids whilst in the UK before the Portugal holiday? Or am I being confused? Am I getting confused here? I don't know, because there are just so many different names there, and so many people involved in this story that it's almost impossible to remember all of the names, really. Joe is saying every single thing they said, they did, came back with a contradictory answer. In my opinion, not one answer stayed the same. Yes, I completely agree with you, Joe. Yes. And it's always about defending themselves and defending their actions and justifying everything. And it's always about them talking about themselves. It's never about them talking about Madeleine. It's always about them. JD saying, Katarina, if you're speaking, there's no sound. Can you hear me now? What is going on with the sound? I don't understand what's going on. Can you hear me now? So up to what point were you able to hear me? JD saying nursery woman linked to McCann's too. I think she knew them and met in the UK too. Yeah, that's what I was saying, that it's possible. Yes. Yes, I know that. I remember something, reading somewhere that she came for a visit in the UK to the McCanns, to their home. But I also think that she was the one who looked after the kids even before the Portugal holiday. So you didn't hear me when I was talking about the timeline, when I showed the timeline, because I was talking throughout. So I was talking to myself then, for God's sake, what's going on? I can do it again if you didn't hear me. Okay, but did you hear me when I had the timelines on the screen? Did you guys hear me talking at the same time? I was trying to explain. Okay, okay, that's fine. So I don't need to start again with that. Okay, so Carrie, oh, it's been an eventful day today, and it seems that it's not stopping. So let's carry on. Okay, okay, so I'm going to go through it again, but I won't be putting it on the screen, on the full screen, because it seems there's a sound issue of some sort. I have no idea what's going on. Right, if I leave it like this, can you guys hear me now? I don't understand what the problem is. It seems like Saturday is not my day. Okay, so what I was explaining, and I'm going to repeat so you can't hear me. Okay, I did not understand anything from this. It's probably because it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I have no idea. I am confused now. So let's try it a different way. Can you guys hear me? 1 for yes, 0 for no. 1 for yes. Can you hear me? 1. Put 1 if you can hear me. Great. Perfect. Okay. That's what I wanted. Confirmation, confirmation. Okay. So back to the timelines, like I was explaining, and it seems like I was talking to myself about that, but it's okay. I'll go again. So you can see here on the screen that there are 2 timelines, right? One is with Gerald's name, which I assume is Gerry McCann. And my idea is that the reason why there are two timelines is because the first one didn't quite make sense, so they had to come up with the second timeline. If you have a look at the first timeline, I think that it was signed Gerald because Gerry was supposed to probably read the timeline and memorize it, so he knows the timings to say when needed, right? So, and also the times are quite precise, and they are too precise in my opinion. But anyway, we start from the first timeline. You can see that at 9, I can't even see it. Okay. You can see that at 9:30, from 9:30 up to 9:55, there is no check being done, which is almost half an hour with no checks being done. So I think that when they came up with this timeline, they realized that, hold on, our story doesn't make sense because we were meant to check on the children every 15 minutes. So then they came up with the second timeline. The second timeline is much more details down, it's much more detailed down to the minutes, which again, in my opinion, it does not make sense and it's overly exaggerated because who remembers every 5-10 minutes what they did in a day? And to be so specific, how can you remember? It's just human nature not to remember every single minute of your day and what you do in that day. I mean, this is the way the way I see it. To me, it just doesn't make sense. And then you see you have all these checks between 9 and 9:05, 9:10, 9:15, 9:20, 9:25, 9:30, 35. So it's almost every single 5 minutes, every 5 minutes that they went to check on the children. Then also, let's not forget that they made a note and they wrote these timelines on a child's book, which presumably was Madeleine McCann's book. So you tell me which parent in their right mind, and a parent who cares about their own children, which just went missing, would use their daughter's book to write on it, to rip the page out and write on it. Wouldn't you, keep everything you have as a memory to remind you of your daughter because your kid just went missing? So you just take time to rip out a page from her book? Why? And yes, also, Kerry, you are perfectly right. Why write it down unless it's something which is not real and you have to remember it? Because otherwise you wouldn't know about it. You have to memorize it so that the story makes sense to all the members of the group, so that they can get all on one plan and stick to it. Yes, Beth, so precise, but they weren't wearing watches. Exactly. So how could they precisely remember the exact times when they went to check on the kids? They didn't have watches. They didn't have their mobile phones with them because that's what they claimed, right? So how could they? That is a very interesting question. That's why most of the times all these stories from the McCanns make me feel as if we are being treated like children and they are feeding us these stories and we are supposed to believe them because we don't know any better, or we are naive and we will believe them, JD is saying, in my opinion, the timeline created for Jane to understand as the weakest link about Jane Tannerman sighting. Yes, that is another possibility. I also agree that Jane Tanner is the weakest link. And I think if she would be put under pressure, if she would be pressurized a lot, then she would definitely break. She would spill the beans, definitely. Thank you so much, Robert. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, definitely a major red flag. Even the fact that they even had the timeline is a red flag. And then being so precise is just, Joe is saying they had to memorize the script. Joe, I agree with you 100%. Yes, they had to memorize the script. Another red flag from Carrie, you would keep everything. Exactly. And the fact that she washed Cuddle Cat, she, what else did she do? She washed the pajamas that I think were stained with tea. That is their story. I can't remember what else were they washing. But anyway, especially the Cuddle Cat, if it was Madeleine's favorite, favorite toy, then you would cherish that, wouldn't you? You wouldn't just wash it. Oh, hi, let's be honest, Jack. I thought the timelines were different because Jane Tanner kept the sighting she had to herself until so late, so they had to change. Jane Tanner knows more than she's cracking on. Definitely, she knows more than she's saying, definitely, and I think that she would be broken under pressure. Bernadette is saying too drunk, maybe. But then again, which begs the question, if you are too drunk, how do you remember all those exact details? Because when you are too drunk, your memory is a bit fuzzy, I think. I haven't gotten drunk since I was a teenager, so I wouldn't know. Carrie is also asking, why wasn't anyone charged for changing their timelines? Honestly, I don't have an answer for that. I have no idea whatsoever. But if I'm looking from the Portuguese police's side, I believe that they were trying to charge them with a bigger crime, as in charge them for Madeleine's disappearance, rather than go, on the small crimes like child neglect and things like that. It is possible, although I am not sure, so I'm just giving my opinion. It is possible that if the Portuguese police charges them with one thing, then they won't be able to charge them with another thing. So this might be the case, and an answer as to why they haven't been charged with child neglect. Hey, Robert. Hey, guys, I was out all day, garage sales, and went to lunch at a nice Mexican restaurant. Sorry I'm late. I fell asleep. Robert, that's okay. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, I know that also I was supposed to have a live tonight with Lizzie from Idaho 4, but unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, we actually had to postpone the live. So I said, because you guys have been waiting, I will go live anyway. And garage sales, they sound really amazing there. I would wish there would be garage sales here in the UK, but there are none. Denise is saying, I think all the timeline was just a cover up to create neglect. I think all kids were being looked after, but for an abduction story to come about, there has to be neglect. Yes, you are right. Yes, I agree with that. Yes, it is possible that all the children were looked after by one person at a time. And obviously, if there wouldn't be a timeline, then there wouldn't be an abduction. So yes, it does make sense what you're saying. Yes, I agree with that. It's very similar to Orrin and Orson West, really, because it was the same. If there wouldn't be any fire needed because it was so cold outside in Orrin and Orson West investigation, then Trizell wouldn't have to go outside and pick firewood, so then the kids wouldn't go missing. So yes. Joe is saying your child goes missing and you go down to the laundry to wash only her stuff, yet she allegedly wore her grotty cadaver work pants. Exactly, which is a contradiction in itself, especially because they work in the medical field and they know a lot. If not, they should know better than everybody else being in the medical field, that they need to sanitize and they need to wash and whatnot, whatever, doesn't matter. But this is another red flag because she says that she visited the cadavers with those checkered trousers, but she didn't wash them, and that's why the dog picked up cadaverine on the trousers and also on the cuddle cat. Oh, it's just, these are just stories which you should read in a fiction book, honestly. The robot is saying, didn't the Mccanns really lock all doors but change that later to leave the patio door open to create an intruder theory? I mean, honestly, I am not sure if how I remember that because they've changed the version of events so many times. At one point, I know that I read somewhere that the key to the door was found inside the apartment. So honestly, I have no idea. Okay, guys, so I finished catching up on the comments. I want to move now to the second, not the second, but the next point that I want to make. So let's see. Right, this is a great one that I want to show you now. I'm pretty sure that if you are following this case and all the informations and everything you read and you listen to about this, you've probably heard about the Wayback Machine, right? The Wayback Machine and that post from the COP website, which 1 minute it was there on the Wayback Machine and then the next minute it was gone. So I want to touch that a bit because I know that there is a lot of conversation around it online, and more specifically, a lot of people are saying that it was an error from the Wayback Machine. So I want to get into that into a bit more detail. Right. So if you guys are not aware, COP is the Child Exploitation and Online Protection Center. The Wayback Machine, what it does actually is it stores billions of web pages, including those which have been deleted, but they were scanned or crawled, as you might hear it, and then they were added to the archive. So the way it works in basic terms is you have a robot, which scans every single web page that you find online, and this robot stores it into an archive, right? So this archive, it's available for everybody to see. And in this Wayback Machine, there was a page which was grabbed on the 30th of April 2007 at 11:58 from the COP website. So the Wayback Machine, let's say the delay between the Wayback Machine's crawling and when the actual page was created, the delay is somewhere between 3 hours to 20 hours. So that page could have been created even 30 hours earlier than the 30th of April 2007. And I want to pop on the screen. Let me just close everything else first, so I don't get confused in all of them. I just want to pop on the screen the crawled page from the COP website. Thank God for people who are screenshotting and saving before they vanish into thin air, and then you actually have a trail that you can pick on. So let's see if I can find it, where I can find it. Yeah, the Wayback Machine is here. Okay. It's going on your screen in any second now. Okay, do you see it? This is one of the page which was scrolled by the Wayback Machine. It was scrolled on the 30th of April 2007, as you can see in the top corner. I have it, highlighted there. So 30th of April 2007. And this says here, help find Madeleine McCann. And he also includes a photo of Madeleine McCann, which was obviously taken of her before she went missing. Right. So. Madeleine, don't forget, 30th of April, 30 April. Don't forget the date because it's very important. Madeleine McCann disappeared officially on the 3rd of May at 10 p.m., around 10 p.m., right? Okay. So if you have a look again at the Wayback Machine page that I just left there for you in the red areas, at the top it says 30th of April, and if you have a look at the bottom here, it clearly says there Child Exploitation and Online Protection Center. So my question now is, why was the COP advertising Madeleine's disappearance days before she went officially missing? The page says help find Madeleine McCann, and the photos, like I just mentioned, of her are actually before she went missing. But let me tell you another thing. This date was later modified. So if you have a look at it now, for example, it would show you around the middle of May, because that's how the story would make sense, right? So around this, I've seen a lot of comments online saying that it's incorrect or it must have been done in a mistake. Let me tell you another thing. This is no mistake, because as part of a web page, anything like a software, an online platform, and so on, there is a code, a specific code, which is kind of, if you want to think about it, like the infrastructure of the said website of page. Like, for example, you just code, you put a code on a notepad, and that's how you actually create the website, right? You just put the code in notepad, you copy that code, and you use a JavaScript or an HTML software or platform, and you create your website. Okay, and so this code does not lie, okay? The code doesn't lie because it's been created and it's been published, so the code is correct. Okay, so I mentioned the JavaScript and HTML. I'm not quite sure how familiar you are with these terms, with HTML or JavaScript, but I want to show you another photo, right, of the HTML data, which you can easily find this data if you inspect the said page with the inspect option from a browser, the date and the time when this was published on the COP website. Okay, so guys, I will show you now the HTML code, and I want to highlight something which is very, very interesting. Now, bear in mind, I am a bit familiar with HTML and JavaScript because I used to edit the coding on one of my previous websites that I had quite some time ago. So let's see. I'm going to try and find, yes, I found it, and I will show you now the HTML code. Let's hide this first, and I'll show you this. So the red area there, can you see it? File archived at 11:58 on April the 30th, 2007, and then retrieved from the Internet Archive on June the 16th, 2015 at 22:18. JavaScript appended by the Wayback. Right, this is the HTML code, and it clearly shows here that it has been modified, right? So let's go back to my information that I collected here. Another question which you might be asking at this point is, who can have access to modifying a web crawling result? And I'll give you the answer to that. The site owner can delete the page from their own website, even block the Wayback Machine from archiving, or the owner of the website can even send the Wayback Machine or any archiving service an email to request them to remove the page which was archived. There is another thing here, however. When I built my website on Google, right? And I didn't really know much about building websites, but I was really trying to learn. And that's where I found the crawling robot from Google, which specifically asked me if I allow this robot to actually crawl my webpage. So how does that help you? If you want your website to be seen and to be found online, you need to let that robot crawl your website or scan your website so that the robot can archive it, put it in a file, and then when people look for a website which is similar to yours, they will be able to find it, like you can find websites on Google today. This is basically, long story short, how it works. So if the developer from COP website removed that page from their own website, the robot doesn't have access to it anymore because it's not there, and there is nothing for that robot to actually scan. So that is the reason why you've seen the page, but then you can't see the page anymore because it's been deleted. So that's it. This is what I think that I actually debunked the thing that it's circulating online saying that this is not real. I think that it is real, and I think that it was on purpose deleted from the COP website to lose the trace, because probably at the beginning they didn't realize that it's going to get so big, so they didn't really care if it will be archived or not. But over the years, the more people were trying to find information, it came to light that this was the article. And I think that as soon as they got notified from wherever source, whichever source they did, they had to get rid of it. Now, the problem with this is there will always be a trace. Like you see in this on this occasion, there will always be a trace left because you have no idea how many people screenshotted that, copied that, saved that on their computer before you made it disappear. So that's how it is. Oh, I was talking a handful here. Okay, I'm going to check the comments again. Good question. Jackie is saying, would you even wear work clothes on holiday? I have no idea, unless you are really poor and you can't afford more clothes. But honestly, I wouldn't. Just for the, the reason that you wear those trousers at work, why would you wear them on holiday? And also for the reason that you wore those trousers to check on dead bodies, but you think it's a brilliant idea to take them on holiday with you? You see how it just doesn't make sense? Robert is saying, Kat, do not justify yourself. Thank you so much, Robert. I really didn't want to, but I felt like at this point it was necessary, because there are some people out there who truly believe that, any YouTube creator is a millionaire. And most of the times, this is really not the case. JD is saying that's a very old picture of Madeleine to confuse people what she looked like. Wouldn't you use a recent picture on the Find Madeleine website and posters? Of course, JD, I completely agree with you. And also, it is very interesting that the last, how do you call those, age progression photo? The last age progression photo was when she was 7 years old, I think. And now she's going to be 18. And even now, everywhere you look at, online, on social media, in news articles, on blogs, on YouTube, everywhere, there's always only that picture of her when she was 3 years old, before she was 3 years old, and the latest one is when she was 7 years old. So why wouldn't they take money out of the fund that they use for finding Madeleine to actually make another age progression photo? Because she's not 7 anymore. She will be 18, so why not? Robert is saying here, the two brothers we have here in California missing also have an old picture shown. Apparently the adoptive parents don't or didn't give up a recent photo. Well, yes, Orin and Orson West, we have old photos, you are right there, yes. And I believe that at one point the adoptive parents were saying that they gave all the photos to the police and it's up to the police to release them. I have no idea. It's very surprising, and it's also weird that in a child's disappearance you wouldn't provide the most recent photo, especially when they are children as little as 3 and 4 years old, because they change by the day. Their appearance changes every single day because they grow. Christine is saying, brilliant. Can you tell the police all that? If anyone can solve this case, you can. Well, honestly, I am quite sure that the police are aware of that. Whatever they are doing, I think that it's being orchestrated by higher up people, and you know, they are being controlled like puppets, in my opinion. They don't really have much power. So I am talking about the British police, whoever is in Operation Grange. I honestly do believe that the British police, at least those police officers who were and are directly involved with the Madeleine McCann disappearance, I honestly believe that they already know the whole truth, but they are being stopped from, you know, from talking and from taking the right actions. It's always like this, because when you are in the public service, there will always be a boss. There will always be someone higher up above you who will dictate whatever you need to be doing. And this is the problem. That's why it's been going for so long. Beth Flynn is saying they need their money to prosecute Amaral. Yes. And I don't even know if it's true or not, or it's just another main media, British media, you know, lie that they were asked to settle outside of court with Amaral. Now, I believe that according to the most recent article I've read, they owe him around £600,000 or 500, was it? I can't remember for sure. And also, it seems that even now they haven't released those books to him. And those books, they are a lot of money. And he worked hard on those books. JD is saying, oh my God, Catalina, you hit the nail on the head. Nobody knows what Maddie looks like after 7 years of age. If we've seen her, nobody will know it's Maddie today in 2021. You can see her right across the street from you. You can see her just about anywhere, and you would have no idea it's her. And I believe this is the purpose, really, because they shouldn't, for some reason, they don't want us to see her how she would look like today. And there are some things which just don't make sense. In any child's disappearance, you provide the latest information and the most updated photos. Hi, Carolina. Thank you. Thank you, Snarky Jerry. Why so rude, Jerry? Yes, he's so arrogant. I cannot stand him as a person, honestly. If he is in everyday life as he is portraying himself in the interviews and in the media, honestly, I don't think I could stand talking to him even for 5 minutes. Oh my God. Yeah, well, they can talk as much as they want, JD. It's, you know, it's the truth. And like I said, I'm going to make a video just about that. So there will be proof that I am not making any more than what I actually said. So And this will be the first and the last time that I'm going to talk about it, because I don't feel like it needs to be justified, honestly. But I like to be transparent as well, and you know, I am trying to show you guys that I'm being honest, so that's why I decided to touch this point. Joe is saying, and there are family who have documented photo and videos wise a lot, in my opinion, even having professional photo shoots. Yes, they are. And Joe, you are so right with the professional photo shoots, especially after Madeleine's disappearance, and it was part of their campaign, honestly. All those photos that you've seen online with them walking with the twins, playing with the twins, you know that all those, they were orchestrated, they were planned, and they were planned by professionals, and they were specifically photographed. They were specifically photographed for that news articles or whatever they wanted to do with them. You know, everything was planned, everything was staged. After her disappearance, everything was staged and planned like a perfect selling campaign. Honestly, this is how I see it. This was more or less a selling campaign. Not a campaign to find Madeleine, but a campaign to take money from people, for people to donate so much money for the Find Madeleine Fund. That was the purpose of it. Why do you think that the logo, their logo, was the eyes look with the coloboma of the iris? That was a good marketing technique because it was a unique thing and something that you could remember a campaign for. Just like you would remember a product for something which the product has unique compared to other products. But Flynn is asking, but if she's dead, why would it matter to publicize her age progression photo? I have no idea. I honestly don't understand the purpose of why there is no other recent age progression photo. Honestly, it would be in their best advantage to actually have one made, because then we wouldn't be able to speculate as we do. But the fact that there is none is just more suspicious, isn't it? Ah, Joy is saying it's no one's business, and I wish you the best. I hope you make a million. Seriously, thank you. I guess hope dies last. Jade is saying, did you hear that story about Kate going to the salon hairdresser to get ready to give interview on TV days after she's going missing? No, I haven't heard of that. But honestly, I think that even that yellow and green ribbon that she had in her hair, Kate, remember in so many photos, because the green and yellow color was part of their campaign, really. Even the ribbon that she had in her hair, she had it there on purpose, I believe, for the appearance of, I don't know, how can I say it, sweetness, innocence, I don't know. But I find it really weird. I find it as if, I don't know, something which is suggestive of something else, really, because a grown woman in general doesn't really wear ribbons like that in their hair. I don't know. This is just my opinion. They might, but it seems to me like, again, a bit too exaggerated, like honeyed. You know, like you pour honey on it, so it's sweeter and more appealing. I don't know, but there are so many things. And then why would you choose yellow and green again? There's another thing. It was a theme chosen for a reason. Although I haven't thought of that before, so I might look a bit deeper into it. I think I'm finding reasons in everything nowadays. Joe is saying, yes, then all of a sudden no photos in holiday or any clear ones from such a big group, which again, it's very suspicious, isn't it? Because you go on holiday to enjoy yourself, to make memories. You had the cameras with you, so why not just use the cameras? I mean, it's just normal. And I think there was a reason why they took the cameras with them, so that they can make memories and you know, keep those memories as photos. No, not the McCanns and the whole group. But I think that they were cleaned, obviously, they were deleted. Okay, guys, so let's see. Let's move on to the next point. I finished with the catching up on the comments. Okay, now here is another thing which vanished without a trace, but I do have a trace for it. So I'm talking about an article, online article from the Daily Telegraph. And I'll pop it on the screen in a second. Let's clean this up. Okay. Let's see, where is it? Yes, the article. So again, I would really like you to pay attention at the circled area. 3-year-old feared abducted in Portugal by staff and agencies, last updated at 12:01 a.m. on 4th of May 2007. A 3-year-old British girl has gone missing while on holiday in Portugal, the Foreign Office said today. Portuguese police are investigating the disappearance from a holiday complex in Praia da Luz in the Western Algarve. A Foreign Office spokesman said that he understood the girl's parents had gone to have dinner once their children were asleep last night, but returned to check on them only to find the girl had gone missing. They reported it straight away, he said, adding that consular assistance was being offered. Right? So. So the Daily Telegraph posts this article exactly 1 minute after midnight on the same night that Madeleine went missing. So, how did this outlet, how did the Daily Telegraph know so soon that Madeleine went missing? Presumably, she went missing around 9:30 to 10 p.m. in the same night, right? And this article was being published at exactly 12:01 in the night, so 2 hours later. So you tell me, how is it possible that a news outlet from the UK already knows that a girl has gone missing in Portugal whilst on holiday, and at this point, so 2 hours later already, there was an interview or a conversation with the Foreign Office 2 hours later? How does that make sense? 2 hours later, already a Foreign Office spokesman knew about the child's disappearance. So you tell me, guys, because I didn't statistically research anything, how many children go missing on holiday in a foreign country? And how many of those children actually get attention from the Foreign Office in the same day? And then, of course, this article disappeared. But again, with thanks to whoever saved the screenshots, saved the article, and then reshared online, I was able to come across this. So, yes, this is another one which is very surprising. Okay, let me catch up on the comments real quick. Carrie saying, still trying to find that comment from a friend of a worker at the Ocean Club saying Kate ran up to Gerry and said, I think I might have overdosed Madeleine. Or this would be really appreciated if you would be able to come across it and find it and maybe share it with me if it's in a comment, or you can send me an email. My email is in the About section of the channel. So that is very interesting. You've already mentioned this in a comments in one of another video, so it was quite interesting when I read the comment. Well, Jackie's saying, I think the disappearance was part of an operation. What kind of operation are you thinking about? Robert is saying, supposedly Murat always made his plane reservations more in advance. And honestly, usually people do make their plane reservations in advance, unless it's some kind of an emergency and they have to do it last minute. I always made my plane reservations in advance, at least, I don't know, a couple of months in advance, but not just last minute. Denise is saying the yellow ribbon has long been a symbol of support for absent or missing loved ones. Oh, I apologize then. I was not really aware of that. I had no idea. So that can, yeah, that would be a reason why that color. Beth is saying in Diane's rogatory statement, she said that Kate was the one taking the pictures and Diane often was asked to take pictures for her of the group. So where are all those pictures then? Presumably there are so many pictures, isn't it? I mean, there are quite a few in the PJ files, so Carrie's saying Gerry rang them. Most probably he did, yes. But I mean, you know, just think about it. In a matter of 2 hours, so much movement already, especially with the Foreign Office. It's just unbelievable, really. Could you imagine if only they would move so quick with any child's disappearance, really? Replying to Robert, why is he not showing on my screen? Oh yes. Jack is replying to Robert, some sort of intelligence op to get Operation Grange up and running. I think there was a failed operation on child exploitation which was shut down before Maddie went missing. I also do think that there is some kind of an operation there, and this is the reason for the cover-up and for the support they get from higher-up people. But I'm thinking that it could be an operation which is much sinister than an exploitation ring. Beth is saying, I would think you would still be hoping to find her in the first 2 hours. Oh my God, Beth, yes, you are completely right. I didn't really thought about that, but yes, I mean, in 2 hours, yes. Why would you call so quick? You know, I mean, yes, okay, it's understandable you call the police because you want to make sure that there's as much ground covered as possible and the authorities know so that they can support. But the media and the British media at that, when they are not in Britain, when they are in Portugal, and I would assume that the Portuguese media would be at that point much better suited to, you know, to let them know rather than the British media, because what can the British media do from the UK when you are in Portugal? Wouldn't the Portuguese media be more suited in terms of spreading the word, really? Carrie's saying I'm saving comments that are important now. Yeah, you learned your lesson. I also had to learn my lesson the hard way. So yes, at first I didn't do that either, and then I realized that, hold on a minute, this is gone. I didn't save it. Now I can't really prove that it's there. It's been there. So I've started saving everything nowadays, really, as well. Crazy lady saying, I agree about the police. If we discovered why the police covered for the McCanns, we would know what happened to Maddie. I completely agree with that. I agree with that. Unfortunately, honestly, I think that even if we spend our whole entire time researching every single little thing on this case, I don't really think that we will ever be able to find out exactly and say with 100% certainty that, yes, this is why Madeleine went missing, or this is what happened to her. I think that this is so complex and this is so big, and it's so spread out that you can't actually find the ends and piece everything together. Robert is saying Murat inserts himself as an interpreter to give a heads up to the McCanns and their cohorts. It does make sense, yes. Christine is saying your daughter goes missing and then you ring around instead of looking for Madeline. Exactly, exactly. Like they said in the following days, I think after her disappearance, that they didn't physically search for Madeline, but they were helping with the search on their computers. So I don't know how do you physically help with the search outside by being inside on a computer. I don't know in which world that makes sense, and in which world people actually believe that. I have no idea. Joe is saying there wasn't one level of government that didn't step in within less than 2 hours. And that is why it makes me believe that it could be something which the government is involved in as well. And I think that this is one of the very few plausible reasons why they have been protected and helped straight from the get-go. JD saying, it says online Spanish TV station Antena 3 interview. She went to the salon to get ready and doll up in head of Oprah Winfrey and Barbara Walters interview. My goodness me. Oh, well, I guess she wanted to look good because she's going on Oprah Winfrey. I mean, who, apart from celebrities, go on Oprah Winfrey's show, you know? So she had to look her best. It's not like she was the mom of a missing child. No, she was how do you say it, an up and coming celebrity. Bernadette is saying, was it yellow and green ribbon? Yeah, it was yellow and green. Christine is saying, did they already have phone number on their phone? Well, it seems so that they had. I mean, I think that was it Gordon Brown? I think that Gerry McCann called Gordon Brown's brother on that night, and then Gordon Brown's brother spoke to Gordon Brown and asked for assistance. And that's how the wheels started turning, rolling. How is that saying? Anyway, you get my point. Joe is saying the government didn't even move that quickly for a global pandemic, let alone missing child. Exactly. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and that is the right comparison, really. Yes, you are right. Yes. Beth is saying, I believe the government is covering something that Maddie's disappearance would have uncovered. I agree with that. Yes, I agree. And that's why, to me, it seems a bit unlikely that we would be talking about the trafficking ring or, you know, something to do with pedophilia, because as horrible as it is, everybody already knows that there is pedophilia in the government and everywhere, really, and things like that. So I think that this wouldn't be such a reason for a government interference in this case to cover up and to support them from the beginning. I think that it would be much more than that. And I think that it would have some kind of, I don't know, a national interest of some sort. I'm still trying to figure it out. It could be that she wasn't, that Madeleine wasn't directly involved in the type of national thing that, you know, it could be. But the McCanns were, and because what happened with Madeleine, so that's why they got the help to cover up. I don't know. Am I making sense, or is it late? And I feel like I can't understand myself, so I don't know. Oh yes, JD, wheels in motion. Thank you. I shall remember that, hopefully. Joe is saying, if I lost my child, I wouldn't be able to ring and tell my parents. I would rather die than break their hearts. See, that's another thing. That's another thing. You call your parents, you call your relatives, you call your friends, and so on and so forth. Instead of going and physically looking for your missing child, you know, and then just, you know, leave the phone calls for later, because you'll have enough time after you find your child or hope to find your child. But don't pick nothing happened, or as if, oh my gosh, she broke her leg, what shall I do, you know? Something like that, like something trivial, really. Beth Flynn is saying national interest, yes. Oh, I feel like I have spoken without a break at all, like I can't breathe. Joe is saying they have dirt on a specific official, in my opinion. They could have, yes. I'm not arguing with that, they could. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. So, Gerry McCann's cat file. This is again another talked subject, so much everywhere online. Let's see if I can find that. Yes, here it is. So I honestly don't know what to make of it. I'll pop it on the screen right now. This is Gerry's cat file from Leicestershire Police Force. So it seems that there was a freedom of information request done by someone, and this is a part of the reply that they received under the Freedom of Information Act. So in response to your letter of request, I can provide the following information regarding the above mentioned subject. Gerry McCann was born on June the 5th, 1968 in Scotland. A search of the local section of the child abuse shows a registration number in the CAT system. A consultation with the DC sound from the department in question confirms that this is just a file reference, but as a complement to Operation Task System for the purpose of the reference, if any investigation should be necessary by the department. No work has been done on the basis of this file. An examination of all other police files using a search system does not reveal any information about him. So this is the response that whoever did the request, the Freedom of Information request, received from the Leicestershire Police Force. So what do we make of this? Gerry had a cat file, but they say it's just a file reference. Now, I don't know. I am not exactly sure legally how these things work and how the system works in terms of creating files, but I would assume, I mean, in my opinion, I would assume that you don't just create a file just like that, you know, just keep it there for what? Just in case. I mean, that this would potentially mean that every single one of us has a file already created, although it's empty, which in a sense, it doesn't really make sense, does it? I mean, you don't just go creating files, and what do you do with them? You just have them there, and in an event that something happens, you add on the file, or how does it work? I'm quite confused here, honestly. Why would there be a registration number? Is the registration number not something that you know, you make when you create a file? When you register something for the file? I don't know. To me, it's very, very, very weird. It's very strange. Carrie's saying, I just went for a coffee. Maybe you should get. I have a coffee here. Oh, oh, look. It's my huge mug. Oh. Then Robert is saying here, or don't think I'm correct. Could Maddie have been some kind of a medical experiment? I am, in a sense, heading towards that direction. I am still undecided, but I am decided on the fact that I don't believe it would be such a high level cover up unless it was something to do with the government, because I don't think that the government just helps you for the sake of helping you, whoever you are, unless they have something to gain from it. Joe is asking, how do you have it removed too? Yes, that's another thing. How do you have it removed too? How do you have it to begin with? Because I would assume that you have the file only when you've committed a crime and it's registered and it goes in the system and so on and so forth. I wouldn't think that they just, you know, create these things just like that to keep them just in case. Betty saying it could be classified if he was doing undercover government work. Yes, you are right here. It could be classified, but then if he would be classified because he was doing undercover government work, why would the reply not have been that it's matters of national security, for example? Because I'm not sure if you heard of it by now, but there were various freedom of information requests made to Operation Grange for various things over the years, and almost every single time Operation Grange or whoever is dealing with the requests came back with the reply saying that because of matters of national security we can't divulge this and we can't divulge that. So basically anything that you want to ask Operation Grange about Madeleine McCann case, they'll hit you back with a reply saying that they are matters of national security. So there's another one. I think that under the Freedom of Information Act, at least if they don't divulge something, they should say the reason why. I am not sure if it's how it works, but I don't know. I really don't. It could be bad, yes. I'm not saying you are wrong. It can be. So they would rather have thought to just, just say that they've got nothing in the file, rather than say national security, because yes, that would definitely be a tip-off, yeah, if you think about it, yeah. And because I mentioned the Gerry McCann cat's file, now I want to jump onto David Payne and his slip of the tongue. Yes, David Payne. David Payne. David Payne, I want to show you a statement of his. And I say it's a slip of the tongue because he is referring to the person carrying Madeleine McCann to the Tenderman as she. So he's calling this abductor a she. So I'm going to show you now. Let's see if I can pop it here on the screen. Okay, this is the one. I'm not sure, guys, if you can see it, but I think that if I put it on the full screen, you won't be able to hear me for some reason. I don't know why this keeps happening, but I'll just leave it to the side of the screen because I just want to make sure that everything works. So I'm just going to, I'll read you the statement anyway. So in this statement, he refers to she as Jane as carrying the child, since the police officer is asking about she, Jane, on this particular occasion. Not only that, but he also says in his statement, and I quote, "My recollection was more about the description of the pajamas not fitting in with the description of the newspaper. And if I was to say that she was carrying the child, like this," and he goes on and on and on. And then he also apologizes for saying she was carrying the child. And now he says, if you are carrying the child. So what can you actually understand from this? I think that a liar would have a slip of the tongue and without even realizing, if he's not a good liar, he will spill the truth one way or another, because a lie is much more harder to control and to keep it consistent. Whereas if you tell the truth, you don't need to control yourself. The truth just comes out naturally. And he is also mentioning that the pajamas, the description, in particular, the description of the pajamas doesn't fit with the newspaper. I mean, honestly, why even say that? Clearly, if it would be the truth, then the description of the pajamas wouldn't change, would it? It does not need to fit, it just needs to be true. So this is one of his statements. I will show you another one a bit later as we go on. But this is one of them. So yeah, this is one of David Payne's statements where he refers to Jane Tanner as Jane carrying the child. And then he realizes that he is not saying it as he should be saying it, so he's correcting himself. But yeah, you see, that's why I'm saying, because when you lie and when you try to, memorize a story to make sure that you say right, you make a mistake because it's just natural, because you don't realize at that time that you made a mistake. So you just say it. And then you do realize, your brain is, realizing that, hold on a second, I should have said it a different way, but it came out another way. So I need to correct that. In any way you put it, if you would be saying the truth, then it would just come out, because it's the truth. There's nothing to memorize there. There's nothing to control or nothing to not control. It's just, the truth. So because you came late, I'm just going to catch you up on the latest thing we are talking about. So we are talking about David Payne's statement. And this is what he's saying. This is what I was talking about.
That he said she.
Yes, because the police officer was asking him about Jane, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he replied, and he said that he refers to she as Jane, as carrying the child. She was carrying the child, yes. But he also says, my recollection was more about the description of the pajamas not fitting in with the description of the newspaper. And if I was to say that she was carrying the child, like this, and then he's gesturing like that, and he goes on and on and on, and then he also apologizes for saying that she was carrying the child. So
now she says,
if you were carrying the child, so he realizes that he made a mistake, and now he's trying to turn around by talking in general, which.
Yeah, thanks, JD. I tried to put him back to sleep, so he's back to sleep now. I don't know for how long, but we'll see.
He's not been sleeping very well the last few nights. So yeah, it's David Payne's statement. You see, because I was saying that when you lie, it's very difficult to control your lie, and without even realizing, you say the truth. It really depends on how good of a liar you are.
Yeah, but at that moment, he said what he said, and then he tried to correct himself.
Yeah, I don't think that he realized that he said what he said, and then he probably realized, and he was trying to, get out of the situation.
Beth is saying is buffering, so I don't know what's going on.
I'm not sure, guys. Is it buffering, or is it just Beth?
I think he woke up again. I'm not sure.
Really?
Yeah. I'm going to check again.
Oh, this one. Joe is saying so the police let him check with her that he said it right. Well, I think that I'm not sure, but I think that when you give a statement, the police is reading it back to you, and you can correct what it doesn't make sense. I'm not quite sure. Joe is saying Jane Tanner slipped up the same way. Yes, I know. Yes, she did. Yes. Because they're horrible liars, and they probably don't even realize when they, they tell the truth, wanting to lie. And then when they do realize, they're trying to turn it around. Bad Flynn, that might be from you because from this side is not. It's just only one color. I'm make sure that it's okay. Let's put the. Let's see. Yeah, the chat section is okay for us. So Bad Flynn, you might need to double check. Yeah, Robert, I did mention that again after. So yeah, I didn't realize there was an issue with the sound when I put it on full screen. So I did mention everything I said after. I know you are catching up on the live, so that's why, yeah. Okay, guys, so this is the most controversial thing to this case. And I want to touch the subject of the blue tennis bag, which again I've seen so many comments online, and this being discussed so many times, and people keep saying that it's not real, it never existed, it doesn't exist, there was no such thing. Honestly, guys, I do really believe that there was such thing as a blue tennis bag, and I want to play you a clip, right, just for the sake of it, because I found what was it, a news clip from Martin Brandt when he was talking about the blue tennis bag. So I'll just copy the link now, and just give me a moment, I will share it with you. The blue tennis bag. Can you believe it? There is such thing as the blue tennis bag. You can't argue with me, because there is. I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the the people who are saying that it never existed. Look, see already. Okay, I'm going to share it now. Let's hope that you can hear. I'm going to have to turn the sound up, I think, on this one. Is it this one?
Yeah.
Sure? I'm gonna do it again just in case. It's 2 minutes. Yeah. Okay, showing stream.
In the hours before his daughter vanished.
If it's a bag of a size that could be taken away from the flat, a child, that would be of great interest to the investigating officer.
We've established that the apartment is owned by someone called McCann, Ruth McCann, a retired teacher from Liverpool. She and Madeleine's parents insist they are not related. The name is just a remarkable coincidence, but it's enough to add one more conspiracy theory to the thousands that continue to circulate. 8 months on, many who followed the story still cannot understand why Gerry and Kate McCann left Madeleine and the younger twins alone in the apartment as they dined with friends at the nearby tapas bar. I'm sitting at the table where the McCanns and their friends were eating on the night that Madeleine disappeared. This place is shut now for the winter. The apartment is some distance away. It's beyond the swimming pool. There's a wall and a hedge, and behind that is a path. It would be very difficult from here to see anybody going in and out of the apartment. Going to check on the kids wasn't easy. Well, 80 paces as far as the gate. The distance between the tapas bar and the apartment, not quite as Gerry McCann described it. This apartment is close to and is an exact replica of the McCanns. The couple left the patio doors closed but unlocked so they could easily check on the sleeping children. Early in the new year, expat Robert Murat should learn if he must stay as an arguido, an official suspect. Gerry and Kate McCann may have to wait much longer. Martin Brunt, Sky News, Praia de Luz.
Sorry guys, sorry. My wife just went to the toilet, so she'll be back soon. Sorry, I had to put the sound back. Sorry about that. So yes, it was they were kind of giving different statements there about the position. Yes, true. There was a blue bag, yes, and they said after all they said it wasn't, but they claimed it went missing. So yeah, definitely was a blue bag there. What parents take what's important to them on holiday before what they will need for 3 young children. And if you forgot something, you buy it there, even if you have to leave it behind when you go home. Yeah. You're back.
Yes, I am.
I was reading comments here, so...
Yeah. So, let's see.
So it was here when Gerry McCann and Jane Tan, the spirit where they stood.
Yes.
And if they saw her, that is very important.
Yes, I agree.
But they were like saying different positions.
You know, the most interesting thing about that is, I don't have anything to show you guys, but when they did their own documentary, remember they released a documentary on Netflix, when they did their own reconstruction of events, I remember I've seen a clip where Jane Tanner was actually arguing with Gerry McCann on the position where they were. So yeah, that again goes to show that it was a lie, because you would remember, isn't it? And the street is not so wide to say that you pass by someone and you see them, but they don't see you. It sort of, that doesn't make sense.
When he was talking to
Jess Wilkins.
Yes.
Yes, that's another interesting character.
Yeah.
Jess Wilkins. We'll get to that in a moment.
Anyway, there was a blue bag, and they said it went missing.
No, hold on. But that
Before,
at the beginning they said that.
yeah.
And then they claimed altogether that there was no such thing as a blue tennis bag.
Yeah.
Because it was at first on Gerry McCann's blog website, and then it wasn't anymore, you know.
Yeah.
But the biggest question is that if there wasn't no blue tennis bag, then how could it have been reported for the police to know to look for a blue tennis bag?
As it happened with his cards that they've been lost. Same thing.
Same thing, yes.
Yeah.
And then also, guys, because I wasn't here when the video ended, just to clarify, the man you see in the video holding a blue tennis bag is not Gerry McCann. It's just someone that they use for the purpose of making the video. So don't think that is Gerry McCann. I'm only clarifying this because in my previous video, when I mentioned the blue tennis bag, someone was saying, no, it's Bia.
Oh, okay.
Someone was saying that, hold on, that guy can't be Gerry McCann. No, in the video, it wasn't Gerry McCann. They used the man holding a bag just for the purpose of making the video.
Yeah, like an actor.
Yes.
Yeah. Then Joe is saying what parents take what's important to them on holiday before what they will need for 3 young children. And if you forgot something, you buy it there, even if you have to leave it behind when you go home.
Yeah, I agree with that, isn't it? When we don't really go on holiday, but when we went, we made sure that we had everything we needed. And if there was something which we didn't have, we bought it there because it was something we needed.
Yeah.
Oh no, don't tell me it wasn't any sound.
No, it wasn't any sound because I forgot something here. So,
okay.
So they didn't have a stroller pal. They used as an excuse for not going to some things because it was too difficult with 3 kids. But the second
Madeleine
McCann was gone. They had one.
That is very interesting. Yes, I remember exactly because they in the first days
they don't need it.
In the first days, they went to eat at the Millennium Restaurant, which was, I think, around 1 mile away from the Ocean Club Resort. And then Kate and Gerry said that it was too difficult for them to handle all 3 kids because they didn't have a pushchair. And but then they had one. Yes, very interesting.
Then we go to Robert here. I also thought they left their phones to the apartment. Who does that? Unless someone didn't want to be traced.
This is a very good point.
Yes.
Because it raises another question. If the phones were really left in the apartment, why didn't Kate use the phone to let someone know that Madeleine McCann went missing if the phone was there next to her, rather than run back to the tapas to let everyone know that Madeleine went missing? Why not use the phone? And I'm pretty sure that the apartment also had a phone for the resort where you can contact reception if need be.
So who's now? Right, so okay. So we go here. Crazy lady says, have you ever heard anything about Gonzalo saying that the police,
the Portuguese police
thought the McCanns took Maddie body to an apartment and they were looking to where the apartment was?
I think that I've read that. I'm not sure if was it in Amaral's book or I read it somewhere online. I'm pretty sure I've heard about that somewhere. Yes. But I don't think that they ever found out about the apartment, where the apartment was. But I think that was Gonzalo Amaral's theory that they could have stored Madeleine's body in another apartment. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, that's why it was embarrassing with the with the credit cards, the blue bag, and everything. as I said about the credit
Yes.
cards. Also, don't forget his wallet and passport was taken, but he was able to return to Portugal, where his wallet and passport was returned. Yeah.
So he went.
And when the Portuguese police asked for state bank statements and what credit cards they have, they said they don't have any.
I think that was the reason why he had to come up with the story of him losing his wallet.
Yeah.
So that they don't provide statements.
JD is saying, in my opinion, tennis bag was used after the night of disappearance, as Smith's sighting was holding child. It was Gerry McCann has went missing after that night.
I've also read somewhere, now this is just a rumor, I wasn't able to verify this anywhere, but I've read somewhere that it seems in the days following Madeleine's disappearance, whilst there was a lot of police in the area and press in the area, someone took a photo or a clip, and in that clip you could see a man who seemed like a lawyer of some sort or a professional of some sort leaving the apartment 5A with a bag which looked very similar to the blue tennis bag. So, and he sort of left hiding behind someone else, so he's not quite seen by people there. But honestly, I don't have anything to back that up with.
Hi, Mortimer's. Thanks for joining.
Hi, Mortimer's.
Christine, I don't think I said hi, but I'll say now. Gerry could have carried the bag to the church or the golf course or the pet graveyard.
Yes, he could have carried that in so many different places. And also, since you mentioned the church, just yesterday I read somewhere that it seems, for example, if a body is buried on holy ground, then it can't be dug up. I honestly don't know how true it is, but I did read it yesterday, just yesterday somewhere. And when I read that, I was thinking about Madeleine McCann. If really it's true that you can't dig up a holy ground, then what if she would indeed be buried in the grounds of the church? What do you guys think of that? Is it really true that you can't dig up a holy ground? Or what does it count as holy ground? And then there is also another thing which I want to mention about the blue tennis bag, which I find quite interesting. Clarence Mitchell at one point said, and I quote, "As far as Kate and Gerry are concerned, there is no missing tennis bag. They came back from holiday with everything except, of course, tragically, Madeleine." So I have a question here. Why is the internet wiped of any reference to this blue tennis bag? I think that this is one of an essential proof in Madeleine McCann's investigation, and I think that that's why they've tried their best to wipe the internet of any trace of it.
They wiped many more information.
Yeah,
but
of course, yes.
Obviously, Mitchell had his hand all over.
Clarence Mitchell, oh my God, Clarence Mitchell, that guy, he is, oh.
He had the good team working, different websites and crawling on the internet and literally deleting and moving and doing everything they had to clear everything, all the traces and tracks and everything that went against them, so we know that. Right. So where are we here now?
Yeah, there, around there. Yes.
Thank you, Robert, for being honest and being here, joining us.
Yes, you guys are the best. Honestly, you are the best.
The stroller was an excuse, Joe is saying. Well, sort of, yes. Was one of the excuses.
Oh, one of
Yeah.
many.
Yeah.
One of so many.
Yeah. And JD says, why McCann disregard Smith's sighting altogether? So what if he looks like Gerry McCann? Wouldn't you say it wasn't Gerry McCann, but definitely look into Smith's sighting?
Yeah, I think that they disregarded the Smith sighting to begin with. They didn't really pay much attention to it. They rather paid more attention to the Jane Tanner sighting, to the Tanner man, than the Smith man, because I do believe that the Smith man is Gerry McCann. In my honest opinion, I think it's him. And also, like you say, JD, if Smith wouldn't be sure that it was Gerry McCann, he would say it would be someone who looks similar to Gerry McCann. But he was 60 to 80% sure that the man
And he
saw.
wasn't alone.
Yeah, he wasn't alone. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mortimer's is asking, do you think Maddie died on the 3rd of May, 2007? In my opinion, in my opinion, I think she didn't. She didn't die there. We don't know yet what happened, when did happen, but I believe if she died earlier than that date. Or if she didn't, that means she was part of some sort of project which is still ongoing. That's hence Operation Grange is still open and ongoing. Funding is still going. Government is still involved, and many other things which you need to kind of balance them and make your mind up. You know, it's just a statement, an understanding there. I'm just using a bit of common sense, and from all the information I gathered all together in all this time. I don't know, you say it now.
Well, more or less, I agree with you on that. Yes. On one hand, I am thinking that yes, maybe she died on 3rd of May 2007, because I don't want to, be in a way disrespectful to Gonzalo Amaral's theory. But again, there are so many things which don't make sense. One of those being, why did Robert Murat fly, last minute to Portugal?
Yeah.
And I do believe that in a sense she did die earlier than the 3rd. If she died, honestly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Robert is saying to Christine, you are correct. Maddie's body was in that tennis bag at some point. Probably. Maybe it wasn't a dead body. Maybe she was still alive. Maybe she was under some kind of heavy drugs, and she was asleep. Unknowingly, she was in a bag. We don't know, but we just speculate.
I am 100% sure though that there was a blue tennis bag.
Yeah. Right.
Too bad though that you can't access all the information, not the flight logs, but like when you check in at the airport.
Yeah.
They check your bags, they scan your bags. I mean, they have how do you say? They have all the information about how many bags you have, what bags you have, and all those things. So honestly, I would really love to see those information, but I don't think that we can get them from anywhere. Because it would definitely show there that he did carry a blue tennis bag when he went on holiday.
Well, not sure, but obviously there's so many cameras in an airport.
Yes.
No matter what. So that means the information is there somewhere, but obviously we don't have access to it.
Yeah.
Joe is saying also the group only had one listening device baby monitor between them because they only needed one. The kids were all together. If I remember well, it was a couple who were just um, one of the apartments upstairs, but was close in the same kind of area, in the same block of flats. It was a couple who requested the baby monitor.
No. The what Joe means is I can't remember who had the baby monitor, but they took the baby monitor from the UK with them.
All right, but
On
I
holiday.
was
One of the couples,
reading
9.
yes, but I was reading the PJ files, and I came across something that was saying about a device like that.
Yeah, they came with the baby monitor because they gave a statement and they said they were the only couple having a baby monitor and everybody else
Yeah,
didn't
but
have one.
there was some requests there that I need to have a look and come up with that information. But there were some requests how they needed a code, they needed that.
Baby monitoring service, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, the baby
yes.
monitoring service. They had someone
That's
who knocked on the not knocked on the door, but listened on the door.
yes.
Yes, but they didn't have that. They didn't
Yeah.
have that at the resort there.
Joe is saying about device.
Yeah,
but
they
they
had-
requested for that service.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but one of the couples had the baby monitor, and yeah, that's why I agree with you that probably the kids were all in the same place. That's why there was only one baby monitor.
Right. Beth is saying Murat had keys and led the police in some apartments. Isn't that strange? His uncle was a rental agent.
Yes, it is. It is quite strange. Yes, and he, Murat happily collaborated with the police and put
Yeah.
himself forward from the beginning,
But it was for money.
and possibly for other things as well. We just don't know for sure how involved he is, but I honestly do think that he is involved in a way in this. And his uncle was a rental agent, so it's possible that they could have used another apartment, which nobody has any idea about. He had access to properties,
Yeah.
so
Also, let's not forget about others who were in the same area and were living there, and they were expats.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's very difficult to connect everything when you don't have all the information.
Crazy lady, I have always thought they put Maddie's body into the blue bag and put it for a time in the front garden where the dogs alerted.
Yes, in a way I do agree with you, because if you look at the dogs alerts, you can actually create the story and create the movement of exactly what happened. So the dog alerted in the wardrobe, which can mean that the bag at one point with the dead body was stored in that wardrobe. And then the bag with the dead body was carried in the apartment, and then it was put in the garden in front of the apartment. So you can see from inside they walk with the bag, they hide it in the garden to make sure that they have enough time, or so they are not seen by anybody else when they actually dispose of it. Then the dog alerted to the road which leads to the parking space, I believe.
Yeah, because they use the car.
Yes. So then you can think that perhaps they carried the body from the garden in the car park and then dropped it in the car and then drove off with it. So more or less you can paint a picture from the alerts from the dogs. Well, with the information you have.
JD, yes, crazy lady, she was stored in the freezer. Gonzalo did say somewhere.
Yeah, Gonzalo was mentioning a freezer, yes, and he said that that's the reason why there were the dogs alerted to the trunk of the car, the hire car, that maybe she was kept in a freezer, and then when they took her in the boot of the car, there was body leakage from her defrosting and bodily fluids and so on.
Joe is saying embarrassing when
Jane Tanner, I believe.
Jane Tanner, yeah, and then
Gerry McCann.
Gerry McCann were fighting. Oh my God, yeah. Then Beth is saying Catholic cemetery is holy ground. It is
Oh, okay. I honestly had no idea. I've read this yesterday somewhere that apparently, if a body is buried on holy ground, nobody can dig it up. I wasn't sure if it's real or not, but look, Betty's saying that if it's a Catholic cemetery, then it's holy ground. So that means that even if the body would be buried in the Catholic cemetery or on the grounds of a church, it's holy ground, so nobody can actually dig up that body.
I'm not too sure about that, to be honest.
I don't know, but that would give you another possibility that perhaps Maddie is buried in plain sight and you can't touch it. As in the church in Praia da Luz. It's another thing to think about, yeah?
That's a good one, Beth. Thanks for that, but didn't think about it.
It is, I think it's a possibility, honestly.
She might be in plain sight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, right. Good point about them only needing one monitor because the kids were all together. I always wondered why there was only one.
Yes, otherwise I don't really think it makes much sense. I would think that if one of the couples have a baby monitor, then probably the rest would, use one as well.
Yeah. Right. Concentrated. No idea if it can be dug up.
Well, if it can't be dug up, then she could be there, but no one can touch the ground. I'm gonna look into this into more detail. It really intrigued me yesterday when I read. The first thought was of Madeleine McCann when I read about the holy ground.
Joe, yeah, another slip up. My God. Christine is saying, I'm sure I've seen the blue bag days after Maddie went missing in the news.
Right, yeah, so.
But there's no news, so because of somebody up there putting his hand deep up to the elbow, maybe more than that, obviously he deleted all that info.
Thank God for the internet and for people who are screenshotting and saving
all the images. Yeah, you just need to
images.
screenshot and just have it as a proof. You never know.
Yeah.
Gerry is saying, sounds like everything that needs to be investigated properly disappears from the net. True.
Yes.
And that's what I was saying about Clarence Mitchell, who had a good team and they were working all together just to delete and kind of make sure everything is clean and tidy for the McCanns. Yeah.
Oh, he is disgusting. Definitely. Yes. Yeah.
Then obviously throw an excuse because they didn't have Maddie with them, so said they had breakfast at the apartment.
Yeah. There was an excuse, yes, to show that they were at the apartment, and that's the reason why they didn't go to the restaurant, because they didn't have a stroller.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gerry, I wish someone would look into why all of the staff had to leave and stop working at the Ocean Club. Red flag.
Oh, Gerry, I was not aware of that. I didn't really know.
No, I was aware that some of them left, but not all the staff. So I'm not sure.
Is it not perhaps because the Ocean Club owner sold the resort to someone else? Incidentally, another British person?
Yes.
I haven't heard of this until now. I'm going to try and see if I can get more details.
Stop working. Yeah, I knew about a few of them that they left just after what happened.
It would be very interesting to see those members of staff who left are the same staff who made statements against the McCanns.
Well, I didn't really connect that yet, but that's a good question. Yeah. Uh, then why carry her down the road out of the back if Smithman and is Gerry?
I think that if Smithman is Gerry, and I covered this in one of my previous videos, when she was carried by Gerry, I don't think that she was dead. I think
Yeah.
that she was passed out, because by the Smith sighting, by the way they described the child being on the Smithman's shoulder with the head down on the shoulder, a child, if is dead, would not stay in that position unsupported, because I don't want to get into this again, because it's very I find it very hard to explain this kind of situation. But in my video I used the image of a gorilla with her baby, which the baby was dead. And so when the gorilla mom held the baby in her hands, the head went backwards, because there was no more blood flowing and the muscles were stiff, and so the baby couldn't hold the head anymore, because the baby was dead. If Gerry carried Madeleine McCann in his the way Smithman described, Smith described, on his shoulder, and her head was, resting on his shoulder, she wouldn't be able to rest her head if she would be dead. The head would go backwards. So I don't think that she was dead, and I think that the Gerry McCann, when he carried her there towards the beach, it was done on purpose to derail from the fact that to connect the Tanner man with the Smith man, so that people would think that, hold on a second, the Tanner man is the same as the Smith man carrying the dead child towards the beach to dispose of the body, so that people would think that actually she was being carried to the beach to dispose of her. So yeah, that's what I believe.
Right, so going to Joe, accidents happen, and if she did fall, you fess up, and it would have been over unless there is evidence on her.
Yes, quite honestly, yes, I agree with you, Joe. However, pardon me, accidents happen, but if it was an accident because of a dosage, like a sedative of some sort, yeah, then it wouldn't be in their best interest to call the police, or
Because they would find out,
yeah,
obviously, the body was there, they would do post-mortem, and they would find out that she was under the influence of some kind of strong drug
yeah,
or something. And so she wasn't really alert, alert to make sure it doesn't happen because of the drug that they used. And I'm going to the next thing that you will.
yeah, in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is another thing here.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was saying, when there is something there to be hidden, obviously they will try to come up with something else and cover that up.
Yeah, so I want a last thing that I want to touch on the blue tennis bag is another statement by David Payne, taken. Yeah, and I'll put it here on the screen towards the side of the screen, and then I read it for you in case you can't see clearly there, because it's so small. Let's see. So this is a Payne statement, David Payne statement about the tennis bag. So, question that he's being asked: do you know whether they took their own tennis kit out? He's saying no, they didn't. So the police officer keeps trying to find out if there indeed was a blue tennis bag, and they didn't take the kit out. The police officer is asking, oh, sorry, when you said about the racket and balls they didn't take. Kit in, kit in general is gonna mean the attire and blah blah blah. He is talking so bad that you can barely understand him. So the police officer is asking him again, did they have any specific tennis gear? I don't recall that they had anything specific, to play. We all have what we have called tennis gear, not the stuff that you probably go swimming in and then the police officer is asking him, what about a kit bag? Would they have a kit bag with them? Okay, this is the important answer from David Payne. He certainly didn't have a great big tennis bag or, I used to be a semi-professional squash player, and, they certainly didn't have anything that I would call a kit bag from days when I played. A lot of sport, if they had a rucksack with some water in, that would be about as big as it got, a small rucksack, but it certainly wasn't a big tennis, things that you could put a tennis racket in. There was nothing of that size that you could hide a tennis racket in or anything like that. Right, so you can see how much he is trying to emphasize the fact that they didn't have anything like a big tennis bag.
To hide the body.
Yes, and then right at the end is the embedded confession, as I like to call it. So if you have a tennis bag, you don't normally hide something in the tennis bag, do you? Because the tennis bag is for the tennis racket. So you just put the tennis rackets in the tennis bag. But why would you mention hiding something in the tennis bag?
Yeah.
It's, again, it doesn't make sense. Again, it shows that David Payne is a horrible liar and he keeps stuttering.
Like Jane Tanner.
Yeah, like Jane Tanner, yeah.
Right, so shall we go back to the comments?
Yeah.
Carrie is saying the monitor was put in between the two rooms so they could hear the kids, so they say.
So they say.
Yeah. Then Robert is saying, okay, so evidence of 1, abuse, 2, drug ingestion, or 3, a medical experiment.
It could be a medical experiment gone wrong as well. I'm also thinking that it's possible perhaps that Madeleine McCann had some sort of defect, something to do with the heart maybe, and Gerry being a cardiologist, maybe he was trying his best to treat her somehow. Maybe there was some sort of trial going on in Portugal, which is not legal in the UK. And that's why they went there, and knowing that the trial is illegal, they had to hide her because it went wrong. I honestly don't know for sure, but there are so many possibilities here.
Then Jane Tan and her partner, because they said baby was throwing up and were gross.
Yeah, the baby was sick and apparently he had to go and change the bed covers, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah
I know that. Yeah, they have Praha is most family hotels abroad. That's the same, but they didn't hire a pram, so
no,
they didn't need anything. Joe, also, how the apartment key was allegedly lost and how strange the key was not an everyday key because they let someone else use it, in my opinion. That's a probability, yes. Christine saying, I know I see a blue bag and it wasn't the police holding one right in the beginning of the case.
Yes, I know. Yes, I agree with you.
There was so many other information that they removed them after.
Yeah.
So
it's really very hard to find all these things and say for sure, but I'm convinced that there was one.
Yeah, brewed bag in garden when they were still in an apartment when cleaner came in Tuesday, and all of a sudden they left the apartment. The cleaner said. That's where the baby would be. Yeah. Um,
In my opinion, yes.
Possibilities, yes.
So Betty's saying that she's looking it up. Let's see if she finds something. I assume it's about the holy ground thing.
Carrie saying, remember apparently there was a body in a coffin waiting to be buried or cremated the next day, I read.
Yes, there was. She was an old lady. She was, yes, she was due to be cremated. There was another possibility I was talking about in my previous videos,
Yeah.
that what if Madeleine was placed somehow underneath this lady and she was cremated at the same time with the lady, and then there will be none the wiser. Anyway, something I think happened at that church, because the priest was saying that whatever happened, he takes it with him to the grave,
Yeah.
and they also ruined his life. So I don't think he would say that for no reason.
Yeah. Also, the priest then thought friendship with them, then later saying they stay with them in their home often.
I've heard that as well, yes.
Right. JD. There was a case where a guy stole a body in a church, and the priest didn't give permission to search the room in church.
So yeah, you see, it's a possibility.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know, honestly. But it's worth checking out anyway.
maybe Maddie was crying because Kate was being attacked. Was bruising
on her arms.
arms.
Well, there's a lot of speculation going on with the bruising on Kate's arms. Some people are saying that she got a bruising because she was restrained by Gerry as her reaction after seeing that Maddie had died. And some people are saying that, she was abused by him and that's why she's got the bruising. Honestly, I honestly don't know. So
the only problem with cremation is it wouldn't explain the calorie percent and DNA found in the McCann's car.
Yes, you are right on that one.
Yeah, but they had to carry her somehow through a way or other, isn't it?
Yeah, but the hire car was 24 days after her disappearance. So yeah, there are some things which, if you think about everything else, they just don't make sense in this. They don't fit.
She's there, in my opinion, the church grounds, protected by priests, not being allowed to speak up, hiding behind religion.
I think that the priest is not allowed to speak up because of the code that they have. Again, I forget the term for it.
Yeah.
But apparently, if it was a confession made to him by Kate or Gerry or whoever else, he's bound by the church not to speak up. Otherwise, he would not be able to be a priest anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hi, Coco. Thanks
Hey,
for joining.
Coco.
In my opinion, Operation Grange is a PR exercise. In my opinion, Madeleine's suspicious death will have blown cover on something, likely to be medical. People clone their pets. It is horrific to think human clones. That's another possibility that we were talking about. Obviously, some other projects a bit more than that because eugenics comes into it. Then you talk about not only cloning but about you were saying about something
I haven't
to
researched that
to do with
yet.
the perfect human being.
Oh,
some
yes.
sort of like, it's because they always say it's a matter of national security.
Yeah.
And we are not allowed to provide you with this information. Also, there's so many other covered, they just take a cover and put it on the pot and say, well, we can't release any information. So that means they give you sort of that thing that they hit you hard when you ask for information. They just hit you. It's a matter of national security, so we can't just
Yeah, we can't say anything.
and that gives you a bit of an idea that there's more to it than we might think. Because how come you under the right of, you want the information and you have the right to have it. You ask for it. There's the law that says everybody who asks in writing, or is allowed to get, and is the evidence, they should provide it. The information, they should provide it. But when they say it's a matter of national security thing, then obviously any kind of law that you come with, they just slap you and say no, that's it. They finish with you quick.
Yeah, picking up on the PR exercise of Operation Grange, I do believe in a sense that the funding for Operation Grange is actually payment for the tapas line to be kept quiet. Then, yes, it's very horrible to think of human clones. So there is a reason why Theresa May said that, there will be rioting on the streets if people would find out what happened.
As Theresa May said,
yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and so I think that this could potentially cause rioting on the streets because people would be confused and terrified, and this is something huge, really.
Yeah, it's unethical.
Especially
it's not
that,
moral
yes.
at all.
No.
Kerry is saying, I thought it might have been to shut them up.
Yeah.
Because then Joe says, because the staff could fill in all the missing pieces and they were sacked.
Yes.
Well, that's the connection there, what Kerry said, isn't it? About the stuff that they
yeah.
Right, so we go to Beth. According to state.com, exhumation is allowed. Christians have a more liberal exhumation policy. The Catholics and Protestant churches say bodies shouldn't be disturbed, if possible.
But is there any law which actually can, stop the church from refusing? Say, I really need to look further into this because I have so many questions now.
And Joe says the cleaners worked there for many years and were let go. Yeah.
There you go. So there is a good reason why they were let go.
Then she says Smithman was a decoy, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree with you on that one.
Christine, did the McCanns go on a boat trip?
I know I've read that somewhere, but I don't know much information about it, really.
No, but they took someone's plane.
Yeah, the jet, the private jet.
Who lives in Switzerland, isn't it?
Are you sure I'm not confusing that with who was it? Weinberger? Not Weinberger. Someone else.
It was
Robert Naylor. No.
No, not Naylor. No, it was his private jet, and they took it.
Yeah, Brian Kennedy's private jet.
Kennedy's, yes. They took it, and they went to Rome.
Oh yes, that one. Yes.
To meet the Pope. Do you remember now?
I remember they met the Pope. Yes.
Roberts. Yes, I guess it wouldn't explain the caliber sent in the car.
No, if we would be cremation, then no, we couldn't.
Jackie is saying maybe she was handed over to someone. I think maybe Kate and Gerry never have full guardianship of Maddie.
If Maddie, for example, was a project, yes, done, by the government, say, for example, then obviously they would never have had full guardianship of her. She would probably be put in their care, but ultimately the government would have, control over her.
Yeah, but then you come with that thing that she was made a word of court.
Yeah, she was made a word of court.
So being a word of court means that they, as parents, don't really have much power.
No.
So that's another thing that complies with what you said there.
if we put forward the theory that, for example, say Madeleine McCann was a medical experiment which started very well with the IVF, yeah? If it was a medical experiment which was done with the state, as in the government in general, right, then she would just be impregnated.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have the maternal rights because it would be a government project.
Yeah.
She would give birth. They would at the same time analyze and monitor the development.
Like a surrogate, that's
yes,
all.
yes. And also, like, let's say, like Dolly the sheep, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So we just don't know. I'm not trying to sound here like a, you know, sci-fi sort of thing.
No, but the ship was made in the 70s, 80s, 76, I think 1976, if I remember well. Beth is saying Pat Brown thinks that Tannerman was invented to give Gerry an alibi, and Kate says that she can only get behind Smithman if he was the same guy Jane saw.
Right. So I agree with Pat Brown on this, that the Tannerman was invented to give Gerry an alibi. But Kate saying that she can only get behind Smithman if he was the same guy Jane saw. Well, obviously she would do that only if, because you know, that would justify Tannerman sighting, and it needs to go into their advantage. Otherwise,
it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. Otherwise, Kate can't really say no. I agree with the Smithman. I think that's why he wasn't given much importance.
Yeah.
Because he was too important.
Joe is saying the decoy went one way while Madeleine McCann was carried the opposite way.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. I don't know how I got muddled up when I was saying it. It came out the wrong way, but
so he went towards the beach, and everybody else went there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Instead of looking somewhere else.
Yeah.
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 Right. Then. Yeah, could be clone. Governments hire stuff all the time. I think cloning has been around a long time.
Oh, I think that cloning has been around even before Dolly the sheep.
Oh well.
See, if you
it was in works in the early 20th century, anyways. So it was, yeah.
Okay, so is this the last one? Can you just scroll down a bit? I'm trying to double check my. Oh no, okay. So there is another controversial thing that I want to touch on, and that is Calpol. So I need you to add some stuff on here, please.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, we'll catch up on those in a second. Yeah, if you can add.
Screen?
No, media. Upload. Go back. Screen.
This one.
Yeah, all of them. It turns out that apparently when you put the image on the full screen, you can't be heard talking, so you can only put it on half of the screen.
Okay.
Yeah. So guys, I want to talk to you about Calpol and the stories around it, okay? So, to back up what I'm saying, I'm just going to put a few photos on your screen right now just to show you that, you know, what I'm saying is true to the best of my knowledge. So this is, okay, I'm trying to read as well because I can't see it so small like that. Where is it? I'm going to explain to you, sorry, just give me a moment, please. So what I'm showing you on the screen, this is coming from the Safeguarding Public Health, a public assessment report on Calpol. So it is clear here that Calpol contained at that time paracetamol, diphenhydramine hydrochloride as well. And this was actually released by McNeil Products Limited, which were formerly known as Pfizer Consumer Healthcare. Right? So let's see. What does this have to do with the Calpol? Okay. In 2007, Johnson & Johnson released Calpol Night. Now, Johnson & Johnson, it was a part of the McNeil products. So actually, McNeil products were a part of Johnson and Johnson. They were just like you know, mini, you know, whatever.
Mini company.
Yeah. So Calpol Night was released in 2007, right? It was approved for launch in January 2007. And after the approval, this Calpol Night became available on prescription. So let's move on to the second one. Second photo here. It's very difficult when you have so many open, you see? How difficult it is to juggle them.
Well, we had to just go down.
So yeah, it says here as well that the MHRA has granted McNeil products marketing authorizations, licenses for the medicinal products, Calpol, Calpol Night, and Calpol sachets, and they are pharmacy-only prescriptions. And then if we go to the next one, the UK granted McNeil products marketing authorizations for the medicinal products on 12th of January 2007. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to what I wanted to say. As you have seen already, this Calpol contains sedating antihistamines called diphenhydramine hydrochloride, which has some really dangerous side effects, which include drowsiness, blurred vision, dry mouth, nose, and throat, among other symptoms. Side effects, sorry. So Kate at one point admitted that she did take to Portugal Calpol, but she insisted that it only contained paracetamol, and she also insisted, although we know from various news articles that Kate's dad, I believe, he did say that she previously used Calpol for the kids to help them sleep. So it's safe to assume that she would have used Calpol Night during the night for sleeping. Now, paracetamol contained in Calpol doesn't really aid sleep. It's just a pain-killing medicine. But if you combine that with the sedating antihistamines, this would definitely help sleep. And let's say, for example, that Madeleine, she wakes up drowsy, she climbs on the sofa, she loses balance, and she falls and she hits her head to the point it leads to a terrible accident. Or she's overdosed. You know, there are so many different possibilities here. And also, if I remember well, I've seen, I think it was a photo in the PJ files, that a syringe was found in apartment 5A.
Yeah.
So this could have been used to administer Calpol. And also, Kate was a pediatrician, and she would know how to administer medication. Maddie, let's say she was drowsy from the medicine. She could very well have blurred vision as one of the side effects. It's very possible that she did suffer an accident behind that sofa and she passed away. This is another possibility. And in June 2007, the same year, Calpol Night was actually deemed unsafe for children under 6 years of age, and eventually it got banned with that formula. Now let's think about paracetamol. Paracetamol usually takes 7 hours to be eliminated from the body, around 7 hours. So if really the parents were asked for the twins to be tested on the same night of Madeleine's disappearance, then this could be one of the reasons why they refused. Kate did offer for the twins to be tested, but this was after 3 months. She does mention it in her book, and by that time, obviously, there won't be anything found in the toxicology report. And during the investigation, I actually read this in Gonzalo Amaral's book. A doctor points out to Amaral and his team that Madeleine has a mark in her eye, which is known as coloboma of the iris and can be associated with other disorders such as cardiac insufficiency. That's why for Amaral it was very, very important to find out. So he did make a lot of requests to the British Medical Association, but they never responded to him. Coloboma of the iris can also give light sensitivity, which can cause discomfort and affect the vision, can also give migraines. If you pair that with Calpol night, which causes blurred vision and drowsiness, and hypothetically you do have a 3-year-old girl who is waking up in an apartment, the parents are not there, she's looking for them, for the parents, she climbs the sofa, she falls behind it, and she's banging the head in the tile floor. Yeah. Because she's only 3 and she doesn't realize the danger, and she's also not thinking clearly because she's drowsy. This is a possibility. And if really she did have cardiac insufficiency, Calpol might not have been a good option for Madeleine to take, because the sedating antihistamines contained in Calpol can give heart palpitations and increased heart rate. And if she did have a heart condition, it could potentially prove to be fatal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we finished with the Calpol information, so we can catch up on the comments now.
Right. Where are we left? Yeah. Then the McCanns give up guardianship to Maddie, to the Portuguese PJs, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
To get out of all of this.
They didn't. I don't think that they did give guardianship of Maddie to the PJ. No, I think that she was made a ward of court in the UK by Justice Hogg, Baroness Justice Hogg. Yes.
Which was connected to somebody up there.
Oh my God, she's got so many connections with Brian Kennedy through company and shares and so many other things. So there's a lot of connections there. Yeah.
Then Robert said, remember when Gerry, while on the plane to PDL, said to his friend, he wasn't going on this trip for fun or pleasure. This, in my opinion, was a big tip-off. That's what we were discussing in our few previous videos. That he went, and it wasn't on the plane, it was on the...
It was on the shuttle bus.
On the shuttle bus, when he was actually, who was filming?
One of the Tapas 9, I think, was filming.
And he said, "I'm not. Such a shame. I'm not going.
I'm not here to.
I'm not going to enjoy myself."
Yeah.
So yeah, that's for sure a big tip off. Yes.
And also Kate McCann saying before going on holiday that she had a weird dream, or she had an uneasy feeling about this particular holiday.
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, they had to make a word of court so that the files could be handed over to the Met Police to investigate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that wasn't really the only reason. Because when she's a word of court, then obviously nobody can touch, isn't it?
Well, it just goes to show, because the PJ, they actually requested medical records of Madeleine, and in this particular situation, I think that they could have gotten them if it wasn't for any other involvement.
Beth is saying, I read that it would have been impossible for her to have been cremated with the old lady because the body is checked and the coffin is way before it is placed in the crematorium.
Right. Well, I was not aware of that.
Yeah, but it depends now, because in some places they don't do that procedure, I believe.
I can't really comment on this because I'm not knowledgeable on that. So.
Yeah. Then let's go to Christine. Did the dog smell scent at the local shop where there would be freezers?
I'm not quite sure. I don't think that. I'm not sure if the dogs were taken there to the shop.
No. All we know is that they were in the apartment, in the car park, isn't it? The car. They checked the car, the boot.
Yeah, in the front of the apartment. And the car, and yeah.
Then Robert, it makes sense, but as someone said, why did the dog hit on the rental car 3 weeks later? Exactly, yes. So that means she wasn't cremated, or maybe I don't know what they did.
Well, maybe she wasn't cremated. Maybe she was buried there. Maybe she's still buried there at the church.
Hence the priest saying what he said.
Yeah. I honestly don't know. I'm just
Not to
speculating here.
forget they changed fridges because apparently it wasn't working.
Yeah, I did mention this in one of my previous videos, and I'm going to ask the question again. Who in their right mind goes on holiday and buys a fridge if the other one gets broken? Don't you just call the maintenance guy? I mean, I used to work in a hotel as a receptionist, and people would call me for the strangest things to be repaired in their room.
Yeah.
So I don't. It doesn't make sense.
Right. Then I couldn't find anything about the law by it. There are different laws from state to state in the US.
Oh, right.
Well, that's in the US, but we talk about Portugal here.
Yeah, so there will be different laws probably.
Yeah.
I'll try to look into it as well.
Gary, maybe they kept that back for shopping. Yeah, I doubt it.
Can you imagine? No.
Yeah. So, JD is saying, and they were looking for a missing child, not dead body on the night.
Yes, they are looking for missing child. Yeah.
Crazy lady here. I think I remember Gonzalo saying that they checked the local cemetery and there was no evidence of the fresh graves, but I'm not positive.
Oh, sorry.
Oh wow.
Oh, sorry.
3:30. Okay, got it.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I don't think I've read that about Gonzalo. Maybe that they checked the local. Maybe I think that they must have. Yeah, but I mean, churches, don't they have like their own cemetery?
Yeah, like
Because here in the UK, for
yeah.
example, yeah, the churches, they usually do have their own cemeteries as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Some yes, some they do, but some not.
Yes.
There was something about the printer in the hotel going missing.
That's another. Yeah, I know. I've read about that.
Right. So we kind of.
Yeah, I need a last
that.
one. A last one. Quick.
Yeah.
That's gonna be quick. This is
Yeah.
the. No. You can close this.
Yeah.
I need to talk to you about the last thing for tonight's live, and this is about Jazz Wilkins. I'm only talking to you about him because there is something interesting which I want to mention. So, it seems that Gerry Wilkins, in 1994, he was the head of the Zionist youth movement Habonim Dror, but he was involved in this movement, it seems, many years before. If you guys are not aware, Zionism is a Jewish nationalist movement that has had as its goal the creation and support of a Jewish national state in Palestine, the ancient homeland of the Jews, the land of Israel. I'm sure that you knew by now that Jeremy or Jeremiah or Jazz Wilkins, however many names he's got, people refer to him, he was at one point a TV producer whose production company Zigzag made some really controversial behind Donald
McIntyre's Britain's toughest towns.
Yes. Now Donald McIntyre, he is an Irish investigative journalist specializing in investigations, undercover operations, and television's exposés. McIntyre currently fronts the CBS reality documentary series Donald McIntyre Unsolved, which looks usually at unsolved cases such as abductions and murders. And him and his team, they're really trying to, shed new light on the cases. But funny enough, he never investigated. The reason why I am actually pointing to him is because Jeremy Wilkins was also the producer of the real Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a story that some claim to be true, regarding a renowned family in Texas that owned a cattle slaughterhouse, was involved in incest and kidnapping children for sexual means, and indulged in cannibalism with the involvement and protection of local sheriffs over a period of more than 40 years. Since 2010, Jeremy Wilkins was removed from the side as producer of Zigzag Productions, and all links on the web were deleted or very difficult to find even. And the majority of active links to Jeremy Wilkins and Zigzag Productions on most forums are not even working anymore. So there is very little evidence that Jeremy Wilkins ever worked for Zigzag Productions, which in my view, it's a red flag, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Now we need to look at Jeremy's girlfriend, Bridget O'Donnell. She worked at the BBC for 10 years as a producer and director in documentaries, crime and drama, including Crime Watch UK.
Yeah.
And on maternity leave, she wrote her first play, Lie Back in Anger, which was produced by the Union Theatre in London. She wrote for The Guardian, Daily Mail, and SabotageTimes.com, and as a freelance director and also in television development. Her first book, this is very, very interesting. That's why I wanted to talk about Jeremy Wilkins. Bridget O'Donnell's first book, Inspector Minahan Makes a Stand, published by Picador in 2012, is a historical true crime story set in the 1880s about the extraordinary events leading up to the raising of the age of consent.
That's on Victorian times.
In Victorian times. The following refers to a case related to the Inspector Minahan during the course of his duty in the case of Miss Jeffries, fined for £200 for trafficking young girls between the UK, Paris, Belgium for prostitution. The case also refers to Mrs. Jeffries' brothel being frequented by high-ranking officials, whom were also known by police and in their protection, and also the bribing of the Inspector Minahan with gold for his silence. Bear in mind that this really was a true case from the 1880s. I mean, after having read all this, don't you find it a bit suspicious that both Jeremy Wilkins and also Bridget O'Donnell are so close to true stories, true crime stories, involving child abduction, prostitution, corrupt police officers, high-ranking officials, trafficking of young girls for sexual purposes in the EU, and whom just happened to be on the right spot of the scene of Madeleine McCann's abduction? Not to mention that Jeremy Wilkins himself was a producer for a movie with a production company, and at that time he had access to so many things, including cameras, including speakers, and so many other things. Plus, they had the knowledge.
Yeah.
They had the knowledge to cover up a crime, in my opinion. Because, for example, look at me and my husband. As an example, I'm giving you. We talk about true crime. We investigate true crime. And more or less, you pick up things from here and there, And then if you are thinking, okay, what can I do to cover up a crime if indeed I am in the middle of, this? And you pick on things from here and there, and you sort of try to cover up the crime from the knowledge you got from all the research you made. If it makes sense what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And this would be the last point we are touching tonight.
So Beth is saying churches don't cremate, but they do have their own cemeteries. There was a cemetery nearby, but not next to the church. Right.
Oh, so churches don't cremate?
No, because obviously being cremated, you are in an urn, not anymore like.
Oh, well, I'm not very religious, so I...
Of course, Jay will have a tennis bag, but what is he going to do? Carry his tennis gear in a grocery tote? I don't think so.
Yeah,
well,
true.
Obviously, if he was playing tennis with others, obviously he was having, a bag. I think I need to go now because,
Okay, guys. So last few questions. If you have any questions, put them in the live chat section, and we will be ready to end the live session. It's been, wow, very long time. 4 hours almost. Oh my goodness me. I always say when I go live, okay, I'm going to stay for 2 hours max, and that's it. Well, look at us. We are still here. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes for you guys if you have any more questions.
There's nothing wrong. So, but for now, just to say bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm ready to wrap up. I'm just waiting to see if there are any more questions in the comments. Yes. Joe Hexton, she was with me. She understood what I was getting at. Okay, guys, thank you so much, everyone, for joining tonight's live, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for staying with us for so long, and also for your patience. And again, I'm sorry that we had to postpone the other live. Anyway, everybody, take care, stay safe, and good night. Have a good day, wherever you are.
We will see you next time. We are not sure when, because, well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yes.
We can't promise anything yet. But you'll see us soon.
Shortly,
Soon enough.
yes.
Yeah. So thank you very much for joining us tonight, and for being with us and going through all that with us.
Oh, it's been
and for supporting us as well, because it's a big support, guys. We really love to see as many numbers and as many viewers tonight, and that gives you a big boost, and also makes you feel good. So thank you very much for that. You are brilliant as well, guys. You are brilliant, seriously. You come with all the information. There's some bits that I didn't even took them in consideration, like sort of putting them in my head to kind of make my mind up. But obviously, we need to look into all that and kind of come to a common agreement there. So thank you very much, guys, again, and we hope to see you soon. Good night. Have a good day. Whoever is in the US, maybe they have.
Yeah, we have
6 hours,
Australia,
so
US, Canada.
The West Coast is a bit further, so that means that there are 8 hours maybe. So we wish you all the best. Have a good one. Stay safe. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.